That's it.
Okay.
Live.
That's it. Hello and welcome to Famicast 103, your Famicast for the early part of June 2017. I'm your host, Danny Bivens, and today I'm joined by James Charlton.
Right back at you, baby.
There it is. And Ty Sugar.
What up? What's good?
And Mr. Sairus Delaney.
Hello, and I forgot to shave.
I was saying, I didn't know if that was intentional or what.
No, I'm just really lazy.
Okay. Well, I shave once a week too.
I'm afraid.
Anyway, we also are joined by a very special guest, Mr. Liam Edwards. He does a podcast called Final Game Show, ex-Rockstar employee. Liam, welcome to the show, man.
Hi guys, thank you very much. I cannot grow a beard, so I have to shave off my white wispy stubble pretty much every day. Otherwise, I look like a knockoff Santa Claus. So, thanks for having me.
No, thanks for coming on. And
no problem.
You know, before we go ahead and get started, Liam, how about you just go ahead and just tell us just a little bit about yourself, just in case people out there don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. My name's Liam. I'm the host of a podcast called Final Games. It's a show all about taking game devs, game journalists, game industry people, and stranding them on a deserted island. And on this deserted island, they can only take 8 games with them to play for the rest of their lives. So what 8 games do they choose and why is essentially the reason. And I be the horrible person. I banish them for all of eternity to a deserted island at the end of the show. It's a lot of fun. We've had some really excellent guests over the year and a bit it's been going now. Before moving to Japan, which is where I live now with all of you guys as well.
Yeah, we all live together.
We all live together. We're all in separate rooms for some reason, though.
Yes.
Terrace house. That's basically our life.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so I live in Japan now, and I do Final Games, and I do some other freelance stuff as well. I'm currently making a game. Again, the first game I've made in like 2 years. So before I moved to Japan, I used to work at Rockstar, and I worked for 3 years on GTA 5. And it nearly killed me, so I decided to move to Japan. And since then, I've been living the life in Japan, and I've fallen in love with this country. So I'm pretty much at the moment not wanting to leave. I'm just enjoying doing all this kind of cool stuff, guesting on podcasts.
What's your game called then? It's not like,
I don't really have
Grand Car Thefty or something.
No, IP copyright issues for sure. No, it's a game inspired by Japan. Let's leave it at that, because I've only spent like a month working on it at the moment out of its prototype phase, so I don't want to tell too much in case it's trash, and I don't want to make any promises. It's inspired by Japan, I'll just say that.
Keep it locked to find out more.
But thank you for having me. It's a lot of fun guesting on shows.
Yeah, I'm just so glad, like the last episode, we had this British guy called Liam on. This is nice to have, a refreshing new guest who's,
a British guy called Liam.
From now on, that's it, by the way. If you're a British guy called Liam, you'll be on the next episode. Don't worry about it.
You'll be guaranteed.
I'm the one who lives in Japan, though.
That's true, that's true.
The other Liam's the fake Liam who lives in the UK still.
Yes,
that's right, yeah.
But yeah, it's nice to be on a wholly Nintendo show. I get accused of being Nintendo biased sometimes, so today I can just go wild and just.
Well, we do have a guy that balances it out on the show. Ty will rear his head.
Ty is the Anakin Skywalker.
Right.
Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, I have to.
At the end of episode 3, he's almost Darth Vader.
Everything you guys like is bad.
I often have to be very balanced on Final Games and talk about. I play all kinds of games, of course. I worked on GTA and all that sort of stuff, but
the well-known Nintendo game.
Yeah, the well-known Nintendo Wii game and GTA 5.
Absolutely.
But yeah, sometimes I like to let my heart slip out, and it's colored Nintendo. That's for sure.
Sweet.
Wow, that must have been interesting working at Rockstar, where they don't even. I don't think they know how to spell Nintendo over there, do they?
It's not a very well. Actually, it's quite funny. When we first got the GTA 5 like online word ban list, like the words you couldn't name your character or your license plate and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
One of the banned words was Nintendo, which was really funny.
That's amazing.
Wow, literally.
Man,
I
they were
don't
making
know-
absolutely sure that game was not coming out.
I don't know why. Maybe it was a copyright thing, but I don't
Well-
know why. Because PlayStation and Xbox weren't on there, so
That
I'm not
was
really sure.
there was the ping pong, the table tennis game, right? That came out on Wii.
Yeah, some kind of
Probably.
Rockstar.
I
They
forgot
had
what it's
Chinatown. They had Chinatown Wars on DS as well.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Actually,
But
I
I
know.
think the last,
I know a
I
guy
think
who
the
worked
last
on
dev
that.
kit I saw was like a DS dev kit from years and years and years ago. So, yeah, I don't imagine them having switches in the office. So,
Well,
yeah.
only on the lunch break, secretly.
oh yeah, absolutely. Plenty of my friends are still playing Mario Kart together, but I can't imagine there being any Switch dev kits in the Rockstar offices.
It's like, I think we've all given up on that idea. Any Rockstar games on Nintendo systems.
Oh well.
So, Danny, are we going to talk about Bit Summit, the place that we all went to?
Yeah. So
We're all gamers who are in Japan, so obviously we went there together.
exactly.
As a
So I guess
website.
this will kind of serve as the start of new business. And Liam, so we all know that you went to Bit Summit. So we
Indeed.
we did not. Coolest thing to do,
Losers.
outside of it's cooler than Tokyo Game Show. I mean, come on.
Absolutely.
And
It's hands down better than TGS.
man. Well, how about you just tell us like your experience, like what you did there, and like all that stuff.
Okay, absolutely. So yeah, Bit Summit was not last weekend, the weekend prior to that. It was in Kyoto, and it's hosted by a variety of different cool people who've worked in the Japanese games industry, like the guys at 17-bit, a couple of other indie-based studios and stuff like that. And essentially, it started out as just like a way of Japanese devs to show off their games, because obviously the Japanese indie scene is kind of still new and not very big. Whereas, the European and North American and most parts of the world have been making indie games now for a long time.
It is weird, that, isn't it? Like how hard it is to get indie games on Nintendo systems. Like, sorry, to rephrase that, Japanese indie games on.
Well,
Nintendo
I think
systems, right?
that's exactly where it spawns from. We all know the sort of Japanese mentality. It's the go to university, get hired by a company, get paid really well, have a job for life. The smart people who make games in Japan are people who have been to university and do stuff like that.
Right.
So it's kind of the mentality has only really just changed in recent times. And I think even with Bit Summit wasn't created by a Japanese person. It was created by James McKay, who is, he's an American Japanese heritage, but he's American, and he saw that they needed kind of a voice almost, and Bit Summit was the way to do that. And it started like 5 years ago, and it was really small, but now there must have been at least, I don't know, 2,000, 3,000 people over there.
Nice. So
each day.
They were just talking about this on the 8-4 podcast, and
Yes.
John Ricciardi, friends of the show, he was saying how, there's a lot of Western devs there, like even now, but they're like the ratio has got slightly better. Like there are actually Japanese people there now.
It's weird because I don't think the Western devs are trying to get themselves in the Japanese market. There are plenty of people who want to release their games in Japan. Obviously, there was the lovely guys from Midboss who were showing off their game Read Only Memories. You had even Double Fine were there, but they were only showing off one game, and they had a really tiny corner. But I think like Bit Summit paid for them to be there. So it was kind of small. There was some Western devs. But the majority of like Guy Cockagin that were there were like people who work in Japan.
Right.
So even though
people like you who are not Japanese, but you live in Japan and you got a game.
Yeah. So luckily this year I wasn't showing a game, so I wasn't panicking. I had the freedom to just walk around. But most of there was like my friend Hawken, who's made quite a few games. He was showing off a new game called Pom Pom Parrots with my friend Sarah as well. Like, it's people who live in Japan who are maybe inspired by Japanese games or have worked for Japanese companies prior who are making their own games. That tended to be the people who were foreigners showing off games. And even then, I still feel like they're Japanese games because they're very heavily inspired by Japan or Japanese games. So it was a weird balance. There were some companies like Double Fine and stuff there, which is weird because even Double Fine seems to be a bigger company than the ones that are shown at Bit Summit. But it was lovely. It was kind of just like one or two people teams showing off their builds, showing off their games. A lot of pixel art, a lot of Unity and Game Maker stuff. But it was really nice. The atmosphere in Bit Summit is just lovely. The best way to put it is just friends showing friends their games, like the progress that they've made over the past year or so, whenever they started, and some new projects as well. So there was a lot of stuff going down, and that was really cool.
Did you see any like Nintendo Switch, like not development kits, but like anything running on, or something that was potentially going to run?
So there was. So this year, Nintendo actually had a booth at Bit Summit. I think maybe they had one last year, but it's quite rare for them to do stuff like that. They don't have one at TGS.
Right.
But they had a small one, but it was all indie focused, which was really nice. But it was all kind of games that we are already playing, like Thumper and stuff like that. There was and Snake Pass and stuff like
done, basically.
the indie games that were out. But there was like Overcooked and
nice.
One other game as well that they were showing off. But there were some small developers there who had Switch builds of stuff, but I can only count like 3 or 4 really. It was mostly all PC builds running on PC.
Right.
You know, sort of easy to show off your Unity engine or what you can make in Game Maker.
Were they Japanese people with Switch kits, or?
No, actually, they were not. The majority were games that were kind of already released or set to be released that had Switch versions.
I see.
Because of what I've heard about Nintendo with the indie thing is everyone thought it was going to be really easy to release games for the Switch. That could be true, but having to get Nintendo's approval to make a Switch version is really difficult.
Well, yeah, we heard from, what's his name, Tom, who made Axiom Verge, and he was saying how, yeah, we'd love to make a Switch version, but Nintendo America hasn't got back to him. And then people were like, what? That doesn't make sense.
Yes, exactly. So it was very small. There was like a PC game called Kingdom that's already out. There was a Switch version of that, which is really nice because that game is like perfectly suited for like the Switch. There was a really nice game called Earth Atlantis, I think it's called. And it's like the aesthetic is like a Victorian steampunk undersea kind of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen type of thing, and it's basically a shooter roguelike, but that was running on Switch, and that was just a Switch game, but it was by a developer from Thailand. So the way people get permission from Nintendo, I'm just not sure how it happens. But considering the Switch has just launched, yeah, there wasn't that much other than Nintendo's booth itself.
Well, the official word from them is that they want to quote unquote handpick the best ones and then release them like one really good one a week, right? So,
which is really weird because
I don't know.
You would think you could make, like, they've been like pumping out the Neo Geo classics. Imagine if they're also pumping out indie games as well. Just you can handpick them. Just handpick more of them.
What's it called? What's it called? Room in the Night Sky, or that shitty.
Oh yeah, that launch game that was terrible. Yeah, which is weird because like next week we've got like Shantae coming out from Way Forward. Like they've got the Switch port of Half Genie Hero. That's going to be good, and it's like half price as well. So that's going to be great. You need more stuff like that, like especially from developers who are not like AAA, but are kind of like the A tier, B tier people like Way Forward, or there was like a Switch port of Indie Creates Mighty Gun Vault.
Right.
So that was there. So, you know, those kind of smaller developers who are maybe not considered to be like indie, like as small as like a one-man team, like an actual company, but they have games already that would be perfect on the Switch. Like, I feel like Nintendo need to do more of that. And especially when you go to a place like Bit Summit and you see all of these incredible games. Like, there was a game called Brave Frontier Prologue, which was like a Castlevania style. It was pretty much just Castlevania. It was a homage to Castlevania, but it was created by the guy who made the game I Want to Be the Guy. So he's quite a known developer online, and his game was very popular. So, you know, when you're thinking, oh, this is like a Castlevania type game, who plays Castlevania games? Oh, it's people who buy the Nintendo Switch. This is a guy who's already made a game that was quite popular. You need to be like looking at like these types of people and being like, okay, let's just give you a dev kit. You do what you can with it and then release it, and hopefully we'll just have more of an online store, because let's be honest, the Switch online store is like maximum 2 pages when it could be a lot more at the moment.
I'll tell you, it's even worse in Japan, because a lot of the stuff that came out early, you know, in the West, it's just starting to now come out, like World of Goo and like all that stuff. I mean,
yeah, because like Shovel Knight came out today, I think, in Japanese on this.
It was like midnight a couple of days ago. I remember I was just perusing Twitter and I saw a tweet from Yacht Club Games Japan. I was like, what?
It's really odd, because I don't know if the Switch gets updated like the PlayStation or Xbox like once a week and there is like a set time. It just seems to be odd, like when things get released, like here's another Neo Geo game, here's like a indie game that no one expected, like Thumper. It's just like they come out at random times. It seems like they need more focus and more content. It's that age-old Nintendo thing, isn't it, though?
Typically, I mean, they do release stuff, like I think it's every Wednesday is when they do digital stuff, and then like Thursdays the like retail stuff and digital if it's, you know, like that. But yeah, Shovel Knight, that was just weird. But it's, you know, Nintendo published that here, so maybe they just said we can do whatever the hell we want. And some of the other stuff's just weird too. It's definitely not like it was even with the 3DS and Wii U, where it was pretty much on a pretty tight schedule. But yeah, we're trying to kind of, seems like reaching out to like the worldwide market, especially with bigger games. Nintendo's, even for like maybe whatever normal release days would be in the West, they just say, okay, well, we're going to release this big game on Friday, whatever, you know, or whatever, stuff like that.
It is a weird thing, because Bit Summit is a great example of seeing what's happening in the Japanese industry, and especially the indie industry. And you look, and Nintendo see Bit Summit as something worthwhile enough to bring their booth along. And there were plenty of people who work at Nintendo, maybe not people who make decisions in that regard, but there was like developers from Animal Crossing, there was developers from Zelda, there was developers from all other aspects of Nintendo who were looking at these other games, who must be like, oh, I wish this was on the Switch. Maybe I can tell someone about it in the company and we can see more stuff like this. Because we've all heard like, the Switch is easy to port to. The Switch is easy to develop for. It supports the Unity engine. It supports the Unreal engine. It's like, wow, Nintendo, seriously, look at all these games that are going down that people are enjoying. Like, you've got like the Castlevania style games. You've got like the 2D shooters. You've got these amazing platformers. There were some really inventive platformers at Bit Summit as well. And you think, man, if you had like 2 or 3 of these coming out like every week, and already you've released Breath of the Wild and Splatoon and ARMS and Mario Odyssey in your first year, everyone is going to want your console, even more than they do already.
As English speakers in Japan, you know, we can be very greedy. We can have, you know, 3 accounts. We can have a Japanese account, European account, an American account, and we can take advantage of all the indie games from every place in the world, right? But Japanese people don't have that luxury. I'm sure, you know, many people don't even know. Like, well, my students, I mean, I teach at a university, and a lot of them didn't know that they could do that. You know, and it's like, oh yeah, there's this great game, you know, like Shovel Knight. Yeah, Shovel Knight came out 2 months ago in the West. If you want to play it now, you can. You know, you have to play it in English, but you know, you could download it right now, and they had no idea for that. So like, I think it is really hard. Well, I think it's really hard to get a dev kit in Japan.
I think it's hard to get a dev kit anyway. You just have to be handpicked, and
I would say, yeah. I think even more so than it is in the West. And then even once you've got the dev kit, to actually get that published in Japan, you know, and have on the Japanese eShop, you know, you have to have a big publisher for that, right? which is why.
And it's really weird because there are Bit Summit is proof that there are Japanese creators who are making cool, quirky Japanese games that we all want because we all love those. We're all looking to people like the guys who make Parappa the Rapper. He's doing his own Kickstarter. Like everyone, there is this whole host of other Japanese creators who are like looking to Kickstarter to make creative games that people miss. And we've seen like, you know, with Bloodstained and Eager, because Eager was there as well. You think like Nintendo, look, there are all these like even old creators and all these brand new creators who would love to make stuff for a Nintendo console, but you just have too many barriers to releasing it. And then, I mean, you're doing okay first party wise. Like we're getting like 4 massive titles this year, hopefully guaranteed from Nintendo. But you need that if you're not going to have the big AAA titles like massive Call of Duty, The Witcher, Assassin's Creed, all these things. Like you're not realistically going to get them because the Switch is still not as powerful. Then you need all these amazing indie games that get people inspired to be playing once you've finished Mario. Like that's how you make a console last, and it's difficult.
Have you heard from anyone like a Japanese person that they still have the requirement that you need an office, or you need to have like an office in Japan to be a developer here? I
don't know anything about that, but
okay. Well, that definitely was for the Wii U. And you know, when I heard about that, like for the Wii U, I mean, I imported a Wii U from the UK because like once I got wind of like how hard it was to get, you know, indie games on the Japanese eShop, I'm like, okay, I kind of planned ahead and I was like, okay, I don't think we're going to get many of them on the Japanese eShop. And I was right. You know, fast forward 4 years later, you know, things either just didn't come out or just like, you know, 3 years late, you know. It's like, you know, Shovel Knight was like Danny's 2016 Game of the Year. 2013, just like 2013 Game of the Year, you know. It was just ridiculous, you know.
But it is, and it's funny because we have these teams of publishers, like we have Playism and the brand new company Dangen, which is my friend Nyan and Ben Judd's new company, who is going to be publishing English games to Japanese and releasing them in Japan, and also Japanese games to English and then releasing them wide. So the Japanese creators who are maybe stunted by Japanese companies like Nintendo not looking to them for help or anything, to give them a new audience like on PC and all that kind of stuff in the West. And then we're going to see more games like Castlevania-inspired games, shooter games that are inspired by Contra, like on Steam and stuff. And it's like, why are people going to go traditionally to a Nintendo console to play those games if they can get them on Steam like 1 year in advance?
Right.
So it's a little weird because as someone who is a fan of Nintendo and absolutely adores the Switch, I want nothing more than to play that Castlevania game that I played at Bit Summit on a Nintendo console. It just feels right, and I can play it anywhere. Like I want to play every single game on the Switch just because of the Switch. So, I mean, they seem to be getting there slowly. Like they're a lot better than the Wii U, but still, when you look at Bit Summit and you see the lack of dev kits for Switch, or you see the lack of ports to the Switch, it's still kind of worrying.
It is weird because like with the Wii U, it was actually really good. Like in the West, you know, aside from those restrictions for the Japanese devs where they couldn't, you know, make a game unless they had an office, which is what we heard. Like it wasn't really the case in the US. So which is why we got so many more games, like frequently, and good games as well. But like with the Switch, it seems to be like they've solved the problems with the hardware side, you know, and the the middleware and stuff like that. But then they've put in these they've introduced these new restrictions where it's like, well, we can't have too many games. It's like going back to the NES, and it's like only 3 games a year from one publisher. It's like that, isn't it? It's like, okay, you can be a dev, you can make games, but you can't. We're gonna choose not to publish it until a certain date, you know, because we have this lined up. It's kind of weird.
I don't understand where the line is, because like with the Wii, anyone could make a game, and that's why we got so much middleware and shovelware and all that kind of stuff for the Wii. And the Wii was different in that regards. There was a massive clampdown on that, but that stunted the catalog for the console. It's like Nintendo don't have in-house quality control like PlayStation or Xbox does. and even Xbox is like so-so in that regard. It's like, have a team that looks at these games and thinks whether or not it's worth it. And
I think it's only one guy.
Yeah.
But that's exactly. And you think Nintendo, fucking Nintendo, like, come on.
I think it's the same. One guy runs the whole of the Virtual Console and every indie game ever on the both Wii U and 3DS. There's one guy who does it, so give him a break.
What does he play? Like 10 minutes of each game and decides whether it's good. No, that's the.
If that.
That's your problem.
Honestly, I mean, one thing to keep in mind, I think, when you think about Nintendo compared to Microsoft or Sony, I mean, compared to them, I mean, they're a pretty freaking small company. And it just seems to me like maybe they're in a little bit over their head on this a little bit. And they just don't have maybe clear enough direction. And I hope to God that they're from everything that's happening right now, it seems kind of like they're going in the right way, but just there's definitely going to be some bumps along there. And
I agree. I feel like it is like a starting period where they now are looking to do what every other company did like 6 years ago.
Yeah.
But they're doing it the Nintendo way, which is fine, because when we see Nintendo take on a shooter, they make Splatoon. When they take on an open world, they make Breath of the Wild. So, they take already set conventions and they make it their Nintendo way, and it's incredible, and we all love it, and that's why we love the company. But it's just sometimes like it's the no-brainer kind of situation where you're like, have a system where you loan dev kits out to indie devs who maybe can't afford to buy them, loan them out, let them make a port of their game. I keep going back to the Castlevania game because it's one of the games that stuck out to me. It's like, I love Castlevania. I love playing a Nintendo console. Let that guy have a dev kit. If he agrees to make a port, then do what you do normally, which is like release it on the eShop, take a cut of the profits, but then take the dev kit back after he's done with it, or let him keep it to make another game. It's like, you don't need to give any money. You don't need to publish it apart from other than put it on the eShop and have the deal where they have the cut of the profits or something like that and act as your own publisher. It's strange to have a platform. It's strange to have a platform. I mean, I don't understand it to an extent, but it seems to be getting better. But it does strike me as a little weird when you have this console that you've made to be easy to design for or easy to develop for, and you're still barring some people who don't have millions in the bank to make games.
I think they just want to avoid the shit pile that was the Wii U, basically, like in terms of indie games, where it started off well-intentioned, but then we ended up with tested with robots. And
that's where quality control comes in, right?
That's where we hope they have a team that looks after this kind of stuff.
Right.
I can imagine that conversations about trying to lend out dev kits, just the Japanese side, sucking of teeth and basically getting to the point where it's no, but making you think that it's going to happen, and then they're like, "Nah, fuck you, bye."
Put it in a fax. We'll get back to you in a couple of years.
Well, that's the thing it's like Nintendo. They always have a plan, right? So whether it's the Japanese side, they'll always be like, right, we're going to release this many indie games, and then it's going to be ARMS and Splatoon, so we don't need any other focus drawn away from those. Yeah. I understand that kind of thinking, especially like a Japanese way.
Change their mind as well, right? I think, they could have, a few months where they don't have anything big lined up, and then they might, open the floodgates and let, Shock Horror 2 indie games come out that week.
I mean, you can't fault them. Like, we had Thumper, Snake Pass, Shovel Knight. We've had these games, and the Neo Geo stuff is really cool, but we don't have Virtual Console yet. That's one thing. And then...
Yeah, it kind of makes sense, though, because, I don't know about you, but, when 3 or 4, medium to decent games come out that week, you might end up not buying any of them, because it's like, well, I kind of like all of them, but kind of I don't want to buy all of them, so I'll just wait until they're on sale or something like that, right?
But the Switch is selling a lot, right? Which means it's going outside the boundaries of just the sort of hardcore gamer again. Like, people see that and they're like, wow, this is really cool. I can play Mario Kart with my kids on the go, all that kind of stuff. And those people are not going to be like, oh, I don't like the idea of just being forced to play one game. Like, we get one indie game, which means everyone plays it. Like, you need choice and variety to have.
It's gonna be like that
people
with the
come back.
virtual console. Like when
I hope so.
when the network comes on in November. Not the network comes on. Well, you know what I mean. When the paid service starts and they start dishing out those virtual console games, we're all going to only be playing one virtual console game a month because the one that's quote unquote free that month.
Well, that's the subscription service, whether you can buy the rest of the virtual console stuff. But the whole point is that choice, right? Like, I love Nintendo games and I love games being on a Nintendo platform. But when you look at the competition, it's not about money. It's just about choice. Like, on PlayStation, there is a whole amount of free games to play, as well as indie games, as well as AAA games of all types of genres and all types of things. And yes, they've had plenty of time to get to that point, but it kind of started out like that. Xbox One is just doing its own thing. We live in Japan, so it doesn't even exist. But it's choice, right? Like, if you want to avoid the Wii U, it's choice. Even the Wii had plenty of choice, and that console sold so much, obviously, for its gimmick and because it appealed to many types of people. But to get to that point, you need to be offering games of all types, all genres. And when you look at these indie creators who are creating quirky, weird, strange, cool games like that, don't all look the same, like AAA games tend to sometimes, you have this more appealing brand image as well, where, hey, when you're done with Mario, when you're done with Breath of the Wild, why not play Thumper and also this Castlevania game? It's like two entirely different games.
Nintendo UK did an advert. I don't know if you saw it, Liam, where I've forgotten which comedian it was. And they had a British comedian on, and he was kind of advertising the eShop, it's like a really weird advert to think about, like Nintendo advertising the eShop. No, they don't do hardly any advertising in the UK these days. But and he was saying he was describing the eShop as a sandwich, and it was like, Zelda is the bread, and then these games on the eShop are the filling, the little or the side dish or something. It's complete nonsense anyway. I kind of got what he was getting at, but the way they did it, it was just complete, there's like a sad trombone in the background.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because it just means everyone has the same games. Like, whenever you look, correct me if I'm wrong, but whenever someone posts a screenshot of their Switch UI, like the home menu, like every tile
Zelda and Mario Kart
is the same as mine. It's Zelda, it's Mario Kart, it's the Splatoon test fire, it's the ARMS test punch, and then it's like
1-2 Switch.
Like, what? Not even that. Like, maybe one Neo Geo game and then Thumper or something. Like, it's all the same. And it's like, yes, the console has only just come out. Fair play, but the potential is there. Like, in a year's time, I hope it's not like that, where everyone just has Mario Odyssey, Splatoon, ARMS, and Shovel Knight. I'm just hoping. And the thing is, it sounds like I'm really down, but I'm not. I absolutely love the Switch. When you go to a place like Bit Summit, to reel it back to Bit Summit, when you go to a place like Bit Summit and you see all these cool games and all these amazing things that, especially games that only Japanese developers can make, you think, I just want to play this on the Switch because the Switch is so good. So I just want to have this on the Switch. Nintendo, please listen and look. You're investing time and money into places like Bit Summit. Look at the other creators.
I almost feel that a lot of Nintendo gamers have been trained to not play indie games at this point.
I totally agree. I do agree with that.
It's whenever a new indie game comes out and I'm browsing the eShop, I'm like, oh wow, this game is on the Switch. It never even occurs to me to check the eShop for new indie games. It's just on Steam. That's where they are.
I will admit, absolutely, it was so weird walking through Bit Summit, seeing Nintendo's booth, and it was just trailers of indie games. There was no mention of Mario, there's no mention of Splatoon, there's no mention of Zelda, there's absolutely no mention of any Nintendo first party stuff. It was all third party indie developed games.
I was like that until the Wii U, actually. With the Wii, I only bought a handful of indie games, but with the Wii U, I bought quite a few, and they're all really good, and
it's funny because on the Wii U, I didn't buy any apart from Shovel Knight. I didn't buy any because they were coming out earlier on other platforms.
Right.
But I think that the reason that I want them so badly on the Switch is because of the Switch itself. Like that console, the way you play that console, like indie games tend to be low powered. You don't need horsepower for those games. Like they would work well on the Switch, and I just want to play them on the Switch. Like I'm looking at it, I'm like, God, I want to take that out and play.
It's only a matter of time. I mean, people like the devs themselves seem to be interested in doing that. You know, the local multiplayer thing and stuff like that. You know, people are big on it.
I just hope we hear less and less, because you overhear things at Bit Summit and people were talking about the Switch and how Nintendo was still difficult to deal with. And even saw tweets yesterday, like someone said, someone who was at Bit Summit showing a PlayStation Vita game of all things.
God bless her soul.
What?
Yeah, rest in peace. But they were talking about Nintendo, and they kept saying, oh, they kept overhearing that it was easy to develop for, and that Nintendo were pushing for indies. You know, they have their little, not promotion, but their focus when they do some directs. Sometimes they have the Nintendo indies. And he said he wishes it was true, because it's just in reality not for developers like him who want their game, a PlayStation Vita game. So it's like a cyberpunk visual novel, like which would be perfect on the Switch. It's like the big brother of the PlayStation Vita, way, way better. But you think, oh, if this guy and the guy who wants his game on the Switch is trying hard to get it, is having problems and sees the reality, then
yeah, I think maybe the timing's not there. I don't think they want that influx yet. I think we'll get there. But Liam,
I hope so.
We have to hear. Do you have any sexy Bit Summit stories?
I knew you were going to ask this. So, Bit Summit being the kind of show it is open to the public, but because it's in Kyoto, Japan, it's obviously...
Is it? How much does it cost to get in, by the way?
It's very cheap. It's like Nissan-en, so it's like 2,000 yen.
Okay.
About $20.
It's like $20, yeah. If you have a free weekend when Bit Summit is on, I do recommend highly going to Bit Summit. It is totally worth your time. But it is kind of, because it's difficult to get to, it's on an odd weekend in Japan, and it's in Kyoto. It's not exactly, apart from like there are studios there, it's not exactly like Los Angeles where everyone goes to E3 and it's quite easy to get to. So it is limited in the amount of people who go. It's mostly devs, mostly press and that kind of thing. But even then, the press is small teams of people from like IGN Japan or stuff like that. So it's mostly just devs talking with other devs. So it's a lot of networking and all that kind of stuff that you would expect at a place. I would say it's similar to GDC. And
what does that stand for again?
Game Developers Conference. Game Developer Conference. Yeah.
Sorry, a bit of an in-joke.
I'm just going to leave there. You guys have your fun. But yeah, it's definitely a bit more subdued as well. So it's a lot of talking, a lot of people showing off stuff, a lot of people talking about what they're working on, all that kind of stuff. And you tend to see, because it isn't E3 or it isn't PAX or even TGS, you see quite famous creators walking around just checking out other games, like Iga-san walking around, or Shuhei Yoshida. They're just walking around talking to people and all that kind of stuff. They feel comfortable that they're not going to get mobbed and that kind of stuff. So it's really interesting to see all these cool people. And before Bit Summit kicked off on the Saturday, there was a pre-Bit Summit party at Q Games, which was founded by Dylan Cuthbert. And the Q Games party is infamously associated with Bit Summit, and all the developers who are hanging around a day early go to the party at their office, their lovely new office, which is a really nice space, big open space. And there was the guys from Double Fine, there was Lucas Pope, who made Papers, Please, there was Bruce Straley, who was the director of Uncharted and The Last of Us. He was there as well. There was Andrew Goldfarb from IGN, all kinds of people, essentially people in the industry who work. And the Q Games party is great, a lot of fun, a lot of free wine. But once it ran out, everyone kind of left. And the office began to clear out. For some reason, I had not left. I was talking with some people. I think I was talking with Dylan. about Britain and gaming or something, because there was not that many Brits at Bit Summit. And all of a sudden, there's this noise and this shuffle coming through the door, and it's really late at this point. It's about midnight. Almost everyone's left to go somewhere else, go to the Nikkei party, and in comes John Ricciardi of 8-4. Very cool guy. And behind him is Aonuma-san of Zelda, AD Aonuma, and Bill Trinan, and some other Nintendo Treehouse guys, some other localization team, and also Aya-san, who is the director of Animal Crossing, and my friend Jordan, who works at Nintendo. He's a level designer at Nintendo. And they all come in because they've been at a dinner together, and then they came over quite late. No one's there at this point, but they're all they're merry. Let's put it that way. They're all merry. And so Aonuma-san comes in, and everyone's like, the remaining people, there was only maybe 10 or so remaining people at this point. Everyone's like, oh my god, Aonuma-san, blah, 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 Breath of the Wild is amazing.
Aonuma whips up the Switch and says, let's play 1-2 Switch, everyone. Come on. Turning to Karen.
Well, he was a very funny guy. He'd had a few drinks at this point, so he was very chatty and talking to people, and everyone was just having a lot of fun. And Q had this area of their office set up for like taking photos, like the old Polaroid cameras. So just the one snap, get a physical.
It's a standard in Japanese offices.
Yeah, well, it was great. It was organized by Mark, who's a great guy. He's like the sound designer at Q Games, and he was taking loads of photos. And they had all kinds of props and stuff. So they all got Aonuma-san and Bill to go to the camera, and they were taking pictures of Aonuma-san in funny hats and with balloons. It's really cute, and it's really great. And he noticed a few Zelda things that are lying around the Q Games office that a few of the artists had. So he went and he like signed them and stuff like that. And I couldn't help resist, but I actually had my Switch in my bag. I didn't have the box.
Here it comes.
I didn't have the box, but I had my cartridge. So I had Aonuma-san. I don't know if you can see that very well, but I had Aonuma-san sign my Breath of the Wild cartridge.
Super
Watch
cool.
the video.
I couldn't resist. I saw John Ricciardi got his case signed, so I was like, well, if John's getting his signed, I have to get mine. I have to get mine signed. So yes, then we chatted with those. I chatted with Bill Trinan about Chris Cornell of all things, as a huge Soundgarden fan, and Chris being from Bill being from Seattle and being a grunge fan. I ended up talking to him about Chris Cornell, unfortunately, for a few minutes. But yeah, it was really great fun, and really lovely people.
So you got your retirement planned out now. You got your Aonuma signed Breath of the Wild. So
yeah, exactly. In a few years' time, when the council tax in Japan has crippled me massively, I'll pawn off my prized Zelda cartridge possession. But yeah, it was just great fun, and it was another example of Bit Summit being kind of almost like a safe space for these creators to just talk to other creators and talk about
crazy,
games
like,
and that kind of stuff.
You would never see that at E3, just people that, casual, would you? Because, they were just mobbed by large American video game fans.
It's very weird because there is some publishers at Bit Summit, but it's not. I mean, some business does take place at Bit Summit, but it does seem to be like E3 is very close, so everyone saves their business for E3, and this is more of a time to shine for smaller companies who maybe can't make it to E3 or just want people to play their game for playtesting reasons, that kind of thing. So it is like a more creative, I don't want to say like exclusive, but it definitely is more creative, and just people who make games tend to be there. And that's why you see some...
It's exclusive just because of where it is, isn't
exactly.
it?
Yeah, it's difficult. It's not difficult to get to Kyoto, but it's not exactly London or Los Angeles or a English-speaking big city that is easy for people to get to. But I highly recommend Bit Summit. It's always great. It's the second time I've been now. This year was fantastic. The games were excellent. The people were excellent, and the atmosphere generally is very, very good. So I highly recommend anyone to go to Bit Summit.
Well, next year the Switch will have been out for like over a year, so I'm sure there'll be a mass of games at that point.
I hope so. I'm 50-50 on whether we'll be having the same conversation again. We'll see. But yeah, you guys, you live in Japan next year. You need to make it out to Bit Summit. It's excellent time.
Yeah, these clowns who don't even have families, they've got no excuse. So get on it.
I'm married. Actually, that weekend, I came down with a terrible fever, and I couldn't do anything. I mean, not that I had tickets to go or anything, anyways, but that's my excuse.
You don't need to reserve it, do you, Liam? You can just go on the day.
I think you can buy tickets in advance.
I was talking more for train or something, but.
I mean, it depends how far you live away from Kyoto. I guess if you need to take the Shinkansen, you might want to book your tickets in advance and that kind of thing. But in terms of Bit Summit tickets, I think you can pretty much turn up on the day and you'll be okay. I mean, you guys run the Famicast. You can get press passes. You'll be fine.
Yes, we're a big deal. Didn't know if you knew that.
I'm a close personal friend of ours. He'll hook me up.
Yes.
Are you based in Kyoto, Liam? By the way.
No, I live in a city called Okayama, which is about 2 hours west of Osaka, so it's not too far. It takes like an hour on the Shinkansen, but it takes like 3 hours on the bus, which is the cheaper option. So it's convenient to get to.
You're Japan West, aren't you?
I am Kansai. I'm Kansai native. I am Kansai.
You're one of those stand on the right side of the escalator people.
I am indeed.
For those listening, this is kind of like a historical thing, but Japan is traditionally split between East and West. There's even the rail company actually calls itself JR East and JR West. They actually treat it as two different companies, even though it's basically the same thing.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny actually saying that. I've been to Tokyo way more times than I've been to Osaka, even though I live closer. So I end up always making the same mistake of standing on the left when I'm in Osaka when I first arrive, and then I quickly remember, oh yes, I live in Kansai.
I feel like there's a stand-up routine you can make out of that. It's you see, the people in the West, they drive like this, the boom, 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 boom. They walk on an escalator like this. I'm sure there's something to make out.
So for people who are not familiar with this really bizarre Japanese custom, is that if you're in the Tokyo side of Japan on the east, you always everyone stands on the left side of the escalator, and that leaves a lane where people can overtake people and run up the stairs.
Well, there's always some fucking idiot who's on the right, isn't there?
Yeah, and then there's an invisible line as you pass over from eastern Tokyo to western Tokyo.
Right.
Where suddenly everybody knows that you're now supposed to stand on the right side of the escalator and leave the left open for passersby. And
that's right.
And it's just I don't know how this happened, but it did. And everyone knows it except me, apparently.
You go through a big portal. Didn't you see that when you got on the train? You were sleeping.
And it's not like the car lanes change or anything. It's just the escalators.
Oh, no, you're supposed to drive on the other side of the road as well.
Well, that answers some important insurance questions I was confused about.
My God, can you imagine if that was true? God. The amount of car crashes.
Jeez. That's what I've been doing anyway when I go to Osaka in the car, but, that's just me.
Yeah, that's why the Channel Tunnel, man, drive from England to France and get fucked up at the other side.
That's actually true. What I said is completely not true. Well, thank you, Liam. That was awesome.
Yeah.
No problem. Yeah, honestly, can't say enough good things about Bit Summit. It's definitely one of those special Japan things. Not like TGS. Don't go to TGS.
You go to TGS every year.
We go. Yeah.
It's TGS.
Last year was I never. Well, I'll still go.
Going to play the two Nintendo games there.
Yeah.
I'll still go because I'm an idiot. But
business
days
aren't that bad. But
no,
oh god,
the business days are okay. But even then, the content that was at last year's was
for what we're looking for too. Nintendo stuff. It was terrible.
Yeah. Or even speaking of indie games, just crazy, creative, awesome, cool things. There's just none of it there.
I got to play Sonic Boom Fire and Ice twice. That's how good TGS was.
Where else are you going to play a hack and slash game while stuck between two ginormous breasts and sticking your head through a window?
Where else are you going to wait 7 hours to play Final Fantasy 15 demo for a game that'll come out a month later? Like, TGS.
Rip in peace.
Okay, then. So who's up next, Danny?
So I'll kind of go ahead and go next with some new business, and I'll kind of move this along a little bit quickly.
Hey, Danny, hit that music, that ARMS 8-bit music.
Oh, it's already played.
Oh, there.
Duh.
There it was.
Weren't you listening?
Oh yeah.
No, so I've been playing quite a few things, but I'm just going to primarily talk about ARMS, the test punch.
Oh, good stuff.
Yay.
Yeah, so going in before all of this, and even after seeing the directs and all of that stuff, I still wasn't really sold. And James is the only Famicast member before this past weekend that has actually had the chance to play it.
Reigning champion.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, I'm excuse me, I'm not a huge fan of like motion control stuff. I never really have been, and I'm just kind of going back to Wii era stuff, and just thinking about the few games where it actually works, and it's great. Like Wii Sports, obviously the biggest one there, but there were some other games where it didn't seem to work very well. But that's kind of like where I was, like motion controls. I was just thinking like it typically doesn't work, especially for me. So let's see how this is going to go with ARMS. I mean, this is a free, trial here. So what do I got to lose? So when I think I joined the first test punch, it was like 9 a.m. here on Saturday, and
Yeah.
Not too bad.
yeah, I started playing, and it's actually things went relatively smooth. I think I even got in maybe 5 or 10 minutes early. They flipped that switch, so that was cool. But yeah, I was having. So, Liam, did you get to play it as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I mean, feel free to chime in at any time too.
Okay.
Excuse me. But so yeah, I started out with just motion controls. It's like, okay, this is how we got to do this, right? And yeah, it was working fine. I mean, to move your character, you have to kind of tilt both the Joy-Cons, left or right, and you could kind of move, to left and right and stuff. And obviously punches are, by throwing your arms out in a punch and curving your wrist to, put some kind of a curve on there. And blocking is handled by putting both Joy-Cons together.
Yeah,
like
together. Well, just like turning them inwards.
Yeah.
I like how Danny does the whole Power Ranger cross arms thing.
Yeah.
He did that.
It's part of my problem, I guess. No, but so I was playing through that with the motion controls for about 20 minutes, and I was just getting wrecked. Like it was bad. I was just getting my ass kicked. Partially with my skill, and just it seemed like the controls just weren't. I mean, this is probably partially user error here too, but it just didn't seem like they were responding the way that I thought they would when I was throwing some punches and trying to curve it and stuff. So I kind of just sat down for about like 2 or 3 minutes and took a little bit of a break, and then came back because I had looked through the control options, and I saw that you can control like all sorts of different ways. Not only just with the Pro controller, you can do it with the grip. You can do it with one Joy-Con tilted on the side. If you want. An option I unfortunately didn't get a chance to try out. But
So it has split screen with 2 Joy-Con halves, does it?
I believe so. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah,
Not half a Joy-Con. That would just ruin the Joy-Con.
right. So I kind of went in like full in after that with the Pro controller just for that first session, and man, I really started having a really good time with it. It's doing what I want it to do. I mean, if there's some kind of an error, it's because I'm an idiot and pressed the wrong button or something. It didn't feel like I was getting punished for not moving the right way or something. And I don't know, like Liam, how did you feel about the motion control in this game? How did you primarily control?
I played almost entirely in motion control. I changed it at the end just to experience. So I felt like it worked a lot better than I thought it would. Because it's weird, because my Switch is like above my TV. It's like on a shelving unit above the TV. And I sit pretty low. So I don't know. I was worried whether it would read the inputs, because I'm not quite sure how they work. Essentially, the Joy-Cons to the Switch reading the inputs. And I felt that movement and jump, like tapping to jump and then like doing the dodge and stuff, felt really natural. Like it felt like if I wanted to go to the right, I would just swing right and then like tap and dodge, or like if I want to swing left, I would tap and dodge, which made it like the kind of game I always like to play is like dodging. Like I like dodging punches and stuff like that. That's why I really liked playing the ninja character, Ninjara.
Oh yeah, he was cool. I liked him.
Like when you block with him, he like automatically dodges punches.
Yeah.
It makes him open to be thrown, but it's really cool to like just disappear when a punch comes near you and then reappear. So I like the idea of like dodging, and it felt a lot more responsive in terms of like pressing a button. You know, that's natural, but the natural motion of, oh shit, a punch is coming, I want to dodge to the right, kind of like the old Wii sports punch game, where you'd sort of dodge. Like it felt natural to like, oh shit, a punch is coming from the left, just like swing left or swing right. Like that made a lot of sense. But when it did come to like actually punching, I don't know whether it's because of the way I was holding it, like setting your arms straight forward again always is kind of like a little awkward. You'd feel stiff. Because after you've like punched a few times, your arms are sort of like sitting by your side and they're sort of tilted. But every time I punch, it would never go straight. It would always curve. And because the punch comes out so fast, like in the game, even if you do like a little motion, like even if you just like tap it, like it'll punch all the way. I don't think distance is a thing in ARMS.
Yeah, I don't think so.
The punch always just goes the automatic distance. Like it doesn't short hop if you tap a little bit. So it always flies. So even if you do like a little bit of motion and you didn't mean to, you will punch.
Yeah, it's like you've got to commit. There's no turning back.
Commit. Exactly. So sometimes I would punch and then accidentally move this one, which means that I would double punch, which is a throw in ARMS. And because of this, the punches come out so fast that you don't get time to curve them before the punches already last. Like by the time your arm is extended, you can't twist it fast enough to like make it curve around things. So you have to purposely go in with like a weird motion to like get it to curve. So the only way I could ever do that was to like swing my arm this way. So if I wanted to punch like from the left, I would punch with my right and curve it inwards, and then the same and the other way. And that seemed to be the only time it worked. I mean, it was fun. Like I really liked it. I really enjoyed it. It kind of added a new element of Power Rangers to my game. But
isn't it going to be just like Wii Sports, like where we kind of realized that you actually don't need to do the full bowling gesture? We can just go, just like whip it a little bit.
Yeah,
isn't it just going to be a case of? It'll just be a case of learning how to not cheat the system, but just like, you know, what's the minimum movement I need to do what I need to do, kind of thing.
Especially in ARMS, which is a competitive game, because if you're just tapping a punch and then able to adjust your punches, I think that's going to be it. Because when you extend your full arm, you've already taken too much time to do any readjustments. I will admit, being able to like Jotaro Ora, like for the first time was a lot of fun. The novelty didn't get lost on me. But I switched over to the grip just before it ended, and it felt good, but ARMS is literally just 2 punches, so it didn't feel like Street Fighter or anything complex. So it's weird because it's like this really cool motion control game that I really got into, and I actually won quite a lot of matches, but it didn't work 100%. I still had a lot of fun, but then when I switched over to the controls, it seemed a little more dumbed down, like you would just dodge and punch. Because when you press punch with the grip, it just you can't adjust your punch, can you? It just like punches.
You can, but the way that works with tilting your punches, you have to move the same stick that you use to move your character, as opposed to like mapping that. Because at first I thought, when I played it, I thought, okay, maybe this is, because I was trying to remember, because like writing something up for our website, and I was trying to remember, it's like, okay, do you use like the right stick is for the right arm to twist and the left arm? It's like, no, like if you're throwing like one punch and you're tilting that stick, it's going to do what you want it to do, which is fine. But then you have to worry because you're still moving a little bit at the same time, which puts you...
Yeah, you don't stop when you punch. You can still move.
Is that even... Okay, so I was
wondering about that, Danny, because like in the motion control, you can punch and still walk? But with the Pro controller, are you kind of locked?
No. I was saying the opposite. It's like if you intended to stand still and curve your punch, you cannot do that with the controller method, as far as I know.
You can't. You just punch, and it automatically adjusts, I think, which is weird because like if you punch, it will automatically like swing around to the right if the person is blocking or if they're like dodging to the left, which is what I found. So I don't know if it has like an automatic detection for where their weak spot is. I'm not sure, but it did seem weird to like completely take away something that is like integral to the motion controls with the controller.
Yeah, I was just listening to, I think it was Giant Bomb, and they were talking about this as well. Like, it seems to, like, the lack of like controller customization. It reminds me of like how Kid Icarus on the 3DS, like, you could actually have the what was the attachment, the second analog stick attachment. You could attach that, but they would never allow dual analog control. They would let you use the right one or the left one, but never both at the same time, because they wanted you to use the touch screen kind of bullshit. And like, and there was another game as well where it was like it could have been, oh, maybe it was Donkey Kong Country Returns, right? Like how they forced you to use the waggle for rolling.
That was the worst.
It just could have been so easily fixed and made the game 5,000% better if they just let you just fucking roll with the button, but they just refused to do that.
I think that's good about ARMS, though, is the one thing they haven't done is they haven't Nintendo'd ARMS, which is like giving you one control system like Star Fox Zero, and you have to deal with that. It's
Star Fox Zero. That's another good.
You have multiple controls. If you can use Pro Control, you can use your Joy-Con, you can use your grip, you can use the motion controls. It's just weird that they're not all the same controls. Like I imagine the Joy-Con is probably even more.
But what about using like the second stick to like? For the thing that I heard in the other podcast was how you can't, when you're using the Pro like Danny was, you can't, because like with motion control you can curve the right and the left arms individually, but with Pro they kind of lock together. Yeah, which it
would make sense because you double punch when you press both of them, they go for a throw. So it does make sense that they would be locked to go in the same direction.
Yeah, but it's weird. Like, if let's say you just throw a left punch and you curve that in, and you throw your right punch, but you want to curve it the other way. It's like it's weird. I've only I played it mostly with the Pro controller. So I mean, yes, I mean using that stick, you can have some bit of control over it, but it doesn't seem like it's as good as what it would be if you're actually doing it with the motion controls for that.
Do you think it would be unfair to have like a Pro controller versus motion control, because they'll be able to like the motion will be able to like curve in more directions and move and stuff like that?
I don't know, because then you're sacrificing motion. Like, although I liked the motion control, the way you moved, you are still stunted a little bit because it doesn't quite read your inputs as much as it would with an analog stick.
Yes.
So you're sacrificing motion for the ability to punch, and even then, when you punch and you try and curve it, it's not always perfect. Like, if you've already punched your full arm, you can't adjust it because the punch has already landed by the time you've extended your whole arm. So
you can only curve so far too. I mean, I was like thinking in my head, like, okay, I should be able to like curve around like crazy and hit this guy, but it only curved like a set.
It's like if you don't start the curve before the punch is kind of like left as well, it won't curve. Like once it's almost extended completely, you can't just like tap your wrist to like change the direction. It's like you have to punch with the intent of doing so. Yeah. And sometimes you pull off really cool punches. Like you think, especially on the Helix level where they have like these test tubes.
Oh yeah, that's a good
with like stuff in it, and you can sort of hide behind them and punch through them. Like you could punch around them, which is really cool. Mm-hmm. Like you could like hit people from behind them, which when you landed, it was good, but you had to always go with the intention. And when people are moving and they're dodging and that kind of stuff, it's difficult to judge. Oh, I need to punch around to the right.
It'd be interesting, like when we have ARMS tournaments, it'd be interesting what the higher level players use.
I can see people with motion controls dominating just because of the ability. Once you like you said, James, like with Wii Bowling, like once you know what the minimal movement is, so once you get like a little punch out and then you can adjust it, I feel like that's going to be really good.
It's going to be fun to watch like a pro level ARMS tournament with
just like guys flailing around.
Like, what are they going to look like? Are they just going to use these tiny little movements and they're doing all these crazy skills, or like I don't know?
It's funny. Like I used to go to a lot of Dance Dance Revolution like mini events in Ireland, and you'd see that where like there'd be two kinds of people. There'd be the ones who like the really professionals who move their limbs the absolute minimum distance to hit the steps. So they're just like tiny little steps. And then there's the ones who get into it and like they're full dancing on the machine with like full body motion. But it wouldn't be like one style would dominate. Like sometimes the really crazy dancers would win and sometimes the really minimalist dancers would win. It was just like
That's great. Do you ever have any guys who just come in, the spotlight hits them, and they got a white hat on, and they just moonwalk to the machine?
No, but there was once I went into an arcade, and I thought I was doing pretty good. I played a lot of expert levels. I did pretty good scores, and this Polish dance troupe or something burst into the arcade, smashed open both doors, and came with the machine. And I just climbed off and threw off their shirts. We're down to wife beaters. One guy went down to no shirt, and they put down these 2-liter bottles of water on the side of the machine, and chugged down half the bottle. And we're like, let's go, and then dived onto the machines. So. Yeah.
Oh, they were there to play the game. Okay.
They were just there to play. That was
Okay.
I can only assume they had come off a real dance party and were like, we gotta take this to the game centers.
I will say about ARMS that everything else I really liked. Music, presentation, the level design, and the characters. The characters look excellent. I really like the variation between them all, which is something we don't often see with Nintendo games. But there's massive variation between all of them, and all of the designs are so cool. I really like them.
No, I'm
who did you end up playing mostly, Danny?
Oh man, I really switched between a lot of guys. I like Ninjara the best. I also
Ninjara is probably my favorite too.
Towards the end, I started kind of liking Master Mummy a lot. He's kind of
okay, so the big arm punches.
Yeah, I mean,
nice.
and what's cool too, because with the test punch, I mean, you could choose from 3 different gloves, I guess, for each character. And sometimes it depends on the situation. You could think about it a little bit before the match. If you're playing volleyball, I found personally I like to have some kind of glove-based thing as opposed to some weird missiles or something. Seemed like
definitely just Master Mummy, both big punch things. Just hammer that ball.
Slow, but he'll get the job done.
Yeah. But I really like that you can change character in the lobby, just automatically change your character on the fly, which is really good. Which means you could experiment a lot.
That is really sad that is a feature that you can change your character in the lobby, which is a staple of almost every other game in the world. But
I mean,
Splatoon have ruined it for us.
Come on, this is the point when we pray to the gods, right? Splatoon, please let us change weapons between matches, please, God.
It's like this though. It's really quick. You can press Y, select the character. Oh, that's the wrong character. Press Y, select the character. You can just keep changing, and you can do it even with seconds to go. It's really cool because you change your loadout just before the match starts, when it's counting down. So you don't need to do anything else. You just select the character, and then you can select your loadout. And it's cool because also on top of that, you can also press. You could press I think with the motion controls, it was the start plus button, and you can have a warm up. And immediately a window pops open. That's a target range, and you can just select the character you've just selected, and then you can warm up while you're waiting for the match to start, which is really cool.
I think Smash Bros did a similar thing to that. That's pretty cool.
But it's all it's immediate. It's not slow. It doesn't need to load. It's just immediate. It's the window opens right there, right in front of you.
I heard that Min Min was the character to choose, the ramen haired girl with the noodle arms. Did you run into her a lot online?
No, I didn't actually.
I ran into a lot of her and Ribbon Girls.
I ran into a lot of Master Mummies.
Oh yeah, there was a pretty good mix. It wasn't like you went into a match.
Yeah,
you go into a lobby and everybody's the same character. A lot of people are trying different stuff too, which is cool.
Yeah, definitely. The one I did see the least, which was Springman, obviously being the main character. But it's weird because I think he looks great. I think he looks really cool. He's really well balanced.
Yeah, I like him.
Is it Twin Tail, the big booty? Yeah. Well, was she him again?
She wasn't in the test punch.
I imagine if she was, that would be the only character you would see.
Yeah, maybe.
So
and it's funny because it's a testament to sort of the variety that you don't see, which is the health and how weak their punches are compared to other stronger characters, or which ones are faster, like Ninjara. Because I really wanted to play Min Min just because a person I'm dating is called Rin, so it sounded like Rin Rin, and I just wanted to play and be good with her. And I was terrible. I couldn't get good with her. I don't know the balance between her heavy arms but kind of weak body.
Yeah,
just didn't sit right with me. Being someone who wants to be fast and dodge around, so there's definitely some variety in the characters.
So was Rin Rin disappointed with your Min Min?
No, because she played Min Min herself, and she was good. So.
Okay, good.
Ty, you'll probably be proud. I was doing some of your tactics. I was just trying to get as many grabs in as I could. I mean, sometimes you just kind of got to be patient, and that's what I did most of the time. I would kind of wait on people to attack me, unless I was feeling nervous because they weren't attacking. I was like, gah! You know.
Is there a counter to throws, by the way? Like what cancels out throws?
Yes, you can cancel out a throw if you just throw like a one fist punch, and it'll just cancel the throw.
Yeah, like as long as you throw straight and you block one of the punches with. That's the cool thing about arms is like you can punch into a punch, and the arms just sort of like fall down.
All right.
So when you see like a throw coming, you can either dodge or you can just punch straight and knock them out of the way, which is really cool.
The guy who I played at the Switch event didn't know that.
I was reading through a lot of things just in the game itself, just tips and stuff to what they said, and it was interesting finding out just a lot of different things that you wouldn't know from just fiddling around with stuff. So
are you guys going to get it? Danny, Liam, are you on the fence?
Day one. Day one.
Day one.
I liked it enough that I want to play as many rounds as I can next weekend. But I think it's one of those things. It reminds me of when everyone was kind of like weirded out about Splatoon, but it still had that Nintendo feel to it. And now, can you imagine like Nintendo without Splatoon? I feel like that's how we're going to feel about ARMS in like a year or so.
That's exactly how I felt, Liam. Like I said, I went in, I wasn't even thinking about buying this game, and now I think I'm actually going to buy it when it comes out. I had a ton of fun with it. I mean, I still want to try out motion again. I think I did it a couple more times last weekend, but I want to do it again just to see if I'm just being retarded, which is, fucking possible because I suck at video games sometimes. But no, man, I thought it was fantastic. I'm looking forward to the next test punch and hoping to pick it up. So
yeah, me too. I'm looking forward to playing it this weekend for sure.
Cool. It looks like it would make sense as a download, to have it on you at all times, right?
That's what I was thinking.
Right. They got quite a nice looking ad. I think it's a US ad where there's some guys just playing it in a garage or something like that, and you could just like put 4 systems next to each other and just like play like a tournament right there.
I hope that the different control systems do work out, because like I've played enough Mario Kart now on the fly, just pulling the Joy-Cons out and giving one to someone else, that I would also love, because it is just a 2-punch and a dodge system. You essentially only need like 4 buttons max. I hope it does work on the little Joy-Con, because then I can play with friends as well and just have like more multiplayer games to play on the fly.
How would that work though? I mean, would they even use motion control for that? Just the one.
Well, no. If you turn the Joy-Con sideways and like you have your left and right punch, and you have your jump and your dodge, you pretty much get everything. And the throw is two punches at the same time.
Right. And you could also, on the Pro Controller too, you could also use the ZL and ZR for punches, which is what I did. Or you can use like the face buttons, but it seemed just better with the triggers.
Well, that makes more sense, doesn't it? Yeah.
And they could probably do that with the little Joy-Con too, the little LR buttons on there if they wanted.
The volume buttons on your smartphone.
Yeah, there you go.
Right. Cool. Sounds good.
Yeah. So, next up, wow, we are running a little long here.
Oh, Danny, you forgot to mention the poll that you did on Twitter. How the people had played the test punch.
Right. So I ran a poll on Twitter, basically asking like, how'd you play or will you play, and options, motion controls, Pro, grip, or handheld, or the sideways Joy-Con. Motion controls won out at 52%. The Pro, grip, handheld came up at 46%, and then the sideways Joy-Con was 2%.
One guy.
I don't know if that one guy was just being ironic or what, but yeah.
Why would you do that? Was there like a 2-player on the same system option in the demo?
You could, yeah. I tried playing with my wife online together, but then I was
maybe they were doing that.
Maybe.
Unlike you, who just didn't want to play with her.
I did. I wanted to do like the training again, but there's no way to get back to it. So I was like, oh, okay. I mean, aside from the stuff that Liam was saying, if you press start, you can go to like practice, but it just suddenly starts up into the map.
I think Game Explain had a video how you can like set your router settings to something,
Yes.
and then you can just play the training as much as you want.
Yep, I saw that.
Anytime.
Like you can change your router IP, so it like what it does is it searches for people to play against.
Right.
But
So you just,
obviously you're not actually, you just keep pinging yourself back. So you can play the warm up, but you can only do it for 2 minutes and 30 seconds, and then it times out.
Yep.
But then you have to go back and reset your router IP again. So it's kind of not worth it.
right.
And people will find a way. Ian Malcolm is like rolling in it right now.
Yep.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, maybe for some more new business here, Ty.
Oh yeah,
It's haven't heard from you like all episode, man.
I know, right? Well, I don't have a Switch, so I didn't play ARMS.
Yes.
I probably have a lot of opinions about it, but since I haven't played it, I can't really.
It's always good to have opinions on something you never played.
Yeah.
Save that for a champion edition, eh?
Right.
Eh?
Okay, but I have been playing Shovel Knight, Spectre Torment, noted Switch game.
Hey, me too.
Yeah. So let's both talk about it.
Let's do it.
So it's cool and fun. Double jumping, wall jumping, cool slash moves. It's
What was the last one called? Not this before this
Plague
one.
of Shadows.
Plague of Shadows, yeah.
Yeah, I actually didn't ever go back to that. I think I only did like 2 worlds, and then I kind of like I just didn't really like it. But this
man,
one,
really? Those dance animations though. Oh, they're so
Yeah,
pretty.
I went back to Plague of Shadows. I was trying to get all the achievements on it. I just have the last one left to get. But
if you let me finish, this one immediately hooked me. I'm like, okay, I like how this guy moves. I like his jump. I like the wall jumps. Immediately I was like, this is much better, and this is more like what I like.
what, easier?
Yeah, I guess.
I
I just like the way he jumps and moves. It's cool.
Yeah, like the way they approach the design, I think, is they basically flip Plague of Shadows around completely. So Plague of Shadows is you have a character that interacts with the levels designed for Shovel Knight in really interesting ways, because he has this complicated, difficult movement, with the burst, double jumps, and all these things that change your momentum. So it's a character designed around the levels. But Spectre Torment, they have this brand new character, and they designed the levels around him. They're all new levels.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. I thought it was the same batch again. That's sick.
No, they're totally different. They even changed the music. So, yeah, I would say the character feels like, I don't know, 2D Genji from Overwatch, if that makes any sense.
Not to me, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, Genji just has this ludicrous amount of movement options, like air dashes and double jumps and wall climbs and whatever.
Yeah, and that's what you do, the same stuff. You do it in 2D. Like, if you hit the attack button in the air, it will track to the nearest enemy and slash at an angle. It'll be either like an upward angle or a downward angle at like 30 degrees or whatever. And so what that means is you're going to jump in the air and you're going to slash through enemies, and you can continuously do that as long as you have a target close enough to you.
Right.
And so the game will set up all these little slashable lamps or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then they'll mix it up. They'll add some tricky ones, like ones that bounce you around. Like each level has a unique weird thing it throws at you, I think.
Well, yeah, that's true for all Shovel Knight, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean this one especially so. Let me try to recall. Like, yeah, I think it's only in. Gosh, I don't remember which levels have the green lamps that will bounce you in the opposite direction when you slash them. I think the Mole Knight stage does, and is it only that one? Do you remember?
I'm
Maybe
really bad at
Tinker, I
remembering the bosses' names. I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah. Okay. James, what did you think of the difficulty?
Well, it was less difficult than the last one. I think. Well, it's just more fun. I just like how we can bounce off stuff. I like the bosses just become like nothing now.
Yeah. Well, did you
like
play New Game Plus?
Sorry, New Game Plus?
Yeah.
New Game Plus of this game? No,
Yes.
I haven't finished it. Yeah.
Okay, well, let me tell you about New Game Plus.
Okay.
Well, I want to say Spectre Torment. Sorry. I would say the standard game is the easiest campaign, but New Game Plus for Spectre is the hardest New Game Plus.
Okay.
Because, all right, regularly you just have your life gauge and your darkness gauge. They just call it magic.
Right.
But in New Game Plus, it puts them on the same one.
Oh shit.
And it takes it down while you play.
Okay, that's ridiculous.
So you have to either haul ass or just not get hit. And you don't get to use the heal yourself anytime you want item. That's gone. That's done.
Right.
So for tryhards like me, that's cool and good. And for scrubs who are bad at video games, the regular game is really good. Fun. So this campaign is perfect for everyone.
Yeah, I was surprised like when I got the notification that Shovel Knight had updated finally. I think I'm playing on the European Wii U version. I think it was the Japanese one is the last, of course, to be updated. But European was like quite slow to get out there. So when it finally updated, I totally forgotten that it was basically it's become that Switch game. What's it called? What's the Treasure Trove?
Yeah.
All three. So I'm like, oh shit, my game just became Treasure Trove. It's like for some reason I had assumed that was Switch exclusive. Well, it was a timed exclusive, but like.
Yeah, time exclusive. Like I got it on my Xbox One.
Right. So like I was quite impressed. Like I'm like, holy shit, I'm still getting free stuff. Like however many years later, it's like it's kind of crazy.
It's bonkers. Like Yacht Club games. Oh wait, go for it.
Yeah, that's what they said. Is everybody who already bought the game is going to get all this stuff for free.
Which I don't understand. Like if you have this on like Wii U or what like Xbox or whatever, like why would you go out and buy like Treasure Trove for like whatever more than you originally paid for the original Shovel Knight?
Right.
If you just want it on a different platform.
Yeah,
with the Switch you had to do that, right?
Yeah, like a lot of people who maybe bought it on Wii U, like probably haven't touched their Wii U's in years at this point. And
that's me right here. Like I bought Shovel Knight on Steam. I bought it on my DS. I bought it on the Wii U as well. And then when it came to Spectre of Torment coming out, I know the Shovel Knight guys as well. They're really cool, and I love Shovel Knight a lot. But when it came to buying the game again and on a new console, I just haven't done it yet. I'll probably do it to play Spectre of Torment instead of turning my Wii U on. But Nintendo account systems. That's another thing. Let's get that sorted already.
Yeah, I was a bit worried like when Yacht Club Games were announcing all the upgrade options for all the other systems, and I predicted it. I mean, as immediately when I saw that page, I'm like, okay, they're not mentioning the Switch. They're not mentioning the Switch upgrade path, and then it all just clicked into place. I'm like, okay, yeah. This is Nintendo. This is not going to happen, is it? No. And sure enough, they did announce it later. Like, well, it's a different console, so it was a whole different, development, stage. So whatever. Fair enough.
I don't blame them for that.
Right. Exactly. I blame Nintendo. Don't ask me why. Just whatever.
Well, we have the My Nintendo systems now that knows I've bought Shovel Knight on the Wii U.
Yep.
Yes.
What's wrong with giving me a free game code for Shovel Knight? Like, fair enough. I'll buy the Treasure Trove stuff to like get the DLC that maybe I need to pay for. That's fine, but I just don't want to buy the whole game again. And
we'll have to stop this conversation because you're going to get me onto Mario Kart 8 Deluxe in a minute, and could go on for a while. But it was weird. I actually saw a Shovel Knight amiibo for the first time in Japan. I'd never
really?
seen an actual one in the wild.
I
Yes.
have it. I got it with my 3DS version.
It was just a standalone one, yeah.
Well,
See,
no,
that's another thing. Living in Japan when Shovel Knight amiibo came out,
Right.
we had to wait a while. And then for a long time, the only way you could get hold of him is by buying the 3DS pack-in.
yes.
But I had the game on 3DS already. I didn't want that. So I just went solo Shovel Knight. I think it took like 6 months before they started bringing out packs.
I had
I'm
been
standing proudly over there now.
Nice.
I see him everywhere, and like I would love to get one because I love Shovel Knight. But every time I think like, oh yeah, I'll finally buy this amiibo now, and then I look at it, and the build quality, like the sculpt is not great, the paint is not great. I never feel like I actually want to own it whenever I look at it.
I don't think it's that bad.
I think he's one of the better ones.
Yeah,
I really don't like him at all, and like I have wanted to buy it several times and turned away as soon as I picked up the box.
I will admit his back behind, because you don't see that in the game. That's a little weird.
Yeah,
just
it's very strange. But
Has it got an ass? Like, I didn't see that.
yeah. You can totally see
his ass.
ass to ass.
I love how we just completely derailed Ty's conversation on actually
That's
playing
fine.
Shovel Knight to an amiibo.
I don't know. I was also comparing it to Overwatch, and when we start talking about asses, I mean, it's still the same conversation here.
Famicast.com.
Yeah,
It is.
butts.
But
But it's a good game, and I'm more likely to play through this one again because like Ty said, the stages are different, and also it's more fun for me to play this game. I like the movement, and it's fun, and it was free, so thank you.
Yeah,
Joker Games.
yeah. Just to reiterate, literally everyone should be playing this game all the time.
Not stop, yeah. Right.
Yeah, get on it. It's on
Cool.
every system. You don't have an excuse.
yeah, that's for sure. So next up, Sairus, did you want to talk about that game? Really?
Yeah, I'll go through this real quick because
There's
that
always
is all that
one
needs to
guy.
be spoken about it.
That's fine. I played a little bit of it too.
Yeah, so I've been playing some hardcore Pokemon this week.
Yes.
Finally, my family sent me Pokemon Sun and Moon in the post ages ago. Haven't gotten around to them. So since I clearly still didn't do that, I busted out the new Magikarp jump game on smartphones.
You're a monster.
This game is just like, it's really cute. The whole game idea is you raise Magikarp, you make them jump really high, and then that's the game. But like, you raise your Magikarp by like feeding it food, which you do by tapping on food on the screen every now and then, and you can raise its stats by training, which you do by tapping the training button, and then it just trains your guy for you.
Yeah.
And then you go to the Pokemon League of Jumping, and you enter your Magikarp by just selecting the match, and they automatically jump for you. So there's no game in this. I couldn't find it. I looked for it, and there was no game.
Sounds like Tamagotchi.
No,
It's
Sairus, exactly. That was my thing. Is like, okay, this is just okay. It looks cute. That's fine, and it's kind of interesting and funny, but it's just pressing buttons and boom and touching food, and that's it. This wasn't compelling for me.
Like, I gather, because after I finished the first league, just to finish the first Friends League, which is only like 5 games, and all I did was I just maxed out my Magikarp by eating loads of food and training 3 times, and that max leveled my fish. And then I beat all 4 of the league matches one after the other without trying, and then it said, "Oh, your Magikarp has gotten maximum size, so he's going to retire." And that let me get a new Magikarp. And the new Magikarp had a different scale pattern. Like, my new one had stars on it. So the idea is you're supposed to keep catching more and more Magikarp with different patterns, and like, gotta collect all the Magikarp. And so I think they're kind of aiming for like that, that cat game, Neko something.
Neko Atsume.
Neko Atsume, that one, where it's just like collect all the different cats. And there's no real game to it. It's just collecting cats, and they sit around and they look cute.
Brilliant.
So I think that's kind of that game had a fucking movie. that collecting cats movie. But
Magikarp movie coming to a theater near you very soon.
yeah, so
Well, it did
so
get a song. It did get an official song. I don't know if you've heard that.
the
Tell me.
Magikarp song.
Yeah, there's a official Magikarp song now that was released alongside the game.
Oh man,
It's pretty good. It starts out a little depressing, but it's good. It's official Nintendo Pokemon song. But
Nintendo have some good official specific Pokemon song. Listen to the Slowpoke song sometime. The Yadon
it's kind of
song.
along the same lines. Yeah, it's really nice. Yeah, I can't remember what the name is. I think it's just called the Magikarp song. But
Yeah.
you should listen to it. Check it out. It's
I
fun.
think
So-
I think JJ stuck that at the end of the last Day 4 episode, so I was forced to listen to it. It was like to troll everyone with some hideous song at the end of it. I know what you're talking about.
So yeah, in conclusion, my phone is asking me to update the Magikarp jump game right now, and that's not going to happen. So that's my review of that game.
So is it made by the Pokemon Company?
I have no idea. I can't remember anything.
It's listed as a Pokemon Company game.
You can.
It's an
you can
official
pay for
game.
stuff?
Yeah.
Cyrus, can you pay for stuff?
I don't know. I turned it off pretty quick.
Okay.
But I think maybe you can pay for like currency to buy more, because like as you play you get experience points and currency, and it lets you upgrade the kind of food you get and the training equipment and blah blah blah. So maybe there is a way to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to download it.
I'm going to delete it right now on air.
Good.
There you go.
But that's my new business.
Sweet. Glad you had a compelling, exciting thing to play. No. Alrighty. Well, next up, before we get on to the news, we're going to head on over to Now Playing at Famicast.com.
All right. All right. This is Biff.
Is that how he really talks in the English version?
I could do the Japanese version. What's her name? Kobushi.
Yeah, it's a really high-pitched woman speaking.
Kobushi goodness.
Yeah. Anyway.
Prefer the American version.
All right. So, yeah, several things going on at thefamicast.com, but before we go ahead and talk about any of that stuff, we want to go ahead and make sure that you guys know, as I'm pretty sure you do by now anyways, that our Patreon has just started.
What?
So if you want to get in on that and help support us, we would be very, very appreciative of that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Patreon.com/the Famicast. It's now live.
Give us money.
All right.
Money, please. My family is
The pause was
starving.
The pause was perfect.
It was painful, that pause. Everyone felt it.
Perfect.
What exciting things we got lined up, Danny, for the Patreons.
Well, so
Patrons. Patrons. Oh, Jesus, I always get those mixed up.
Yeah, so we kind of talked about the tiers last time, but we'll kind of maybe just briefly go over them again. So for Tier 1, James, you have to refresh my memory on the...
Tier 1.
Thank you.
Tier 1. Well, Tier 1, you can just like join in on discussions and polls on the Patreon page.
Mm-hmm.
And just, yeah, that's just a way of saying thank you, really. That's only $1, an American buck. We just want to chip in and say thanks, and we'll say thanks to you on the show. And then if you want a little bit more than that, for Tier 2, you can chip in $2, and then you can get this live video that we're watching now. Well, it's not actually live for the public at the moment, but starting with the next episode, we're going to send out a message to all the Patreons, and you'll be able to watch us live and interact with us live and stuff like that. And you'll be able to watch the video, maybe I don't know, 3 or 4 days before it goes public. So you'll have access to this video live, and then you'll be able to watch it or whatever, rewatch it before it goes public. So you'll have access to that. But what you really want to do is get to Tier 3.
Yeah, Tier 3, $3.
That's right.
It's called the 3-3 plan. No, it's not. I just made that up. But it's easy to remember. So you give us $3 a month so we can afford, bread.
That's right.
and water, maybe.
Right.
Don't get crazy.
Yeah. So you do that, and you can get access to the spin-off shows.
That's right.
Yeah. What are our fabulous spin-off shows?
Well, I've already had the fabulous sound test with me and Ty's Champion Edition.
Yeah.
Which, you'll get access to all the back catalog, so you'll be able to get those. But this month, it's me and Danny are up for this month. So for Danny, you're first. What are you going to do?
Yeah, so I got something super exciting that I know everybody is going to want to listen to. I mean, you just get your money ready. Just give as much as you possibly can.
Yeah, I've got it ready right here.
You don't want to miss it. I'm going to be doing something called the Famicast Collector's Corner, and basically kind of be talking about some kind of obscure-ish type of Nintendo-related video game memorabilia or system, game, stuff like that. And yeah, so it's going to be pretty exciting.
So basically the 64DD cast?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's basically, I mean, we've said this plenty of times. I mean, I've said this plenty of times. I mean, when you buy something that's video game related, and instead of playing it, you just put it on your shelf, because obviously it looks better on a shelf than it does probably playing it in some cases.
Good on a shelf.
So that's kind of like the motto. I'm taking things from my shelf and sharing it with the world. So
cool. What are you going to be sharing in this inaugural episode of Famicast Collector's Corner?
Well, I would. It's actually sitting right next to me. I don't want to. I'll just leave it a secret, because I don't want people to kind of like look up information about it and then be disappointed or something.
Call you out on your lack of knowledge.
Yes.
You got to do the Japanese thing. Like, please look forward to it.
Now I'm curious.
Well, we just have to tune in to find out.
Well, I know what it is, and it is pretty crazy. It is definitely worth a watch.
I'll just say it's a Famicom add-on type of thing, and also anime is involved. So,
so it's definitely real.
Yeah.
And for mine, so Danny's going for week 2 with his collector's corner, and then for week 4, after Famicast 104 has gone live. This is 103, right? So after 104 has gone live, you'll get access to my amazing show, which is going to be called Famicast. Wait for it. You've heard this one before. Life in Japan. So yeah, this is a show dedicated to Life in Japan, which is a segment which listeners will be very familiar with. And we've been doing Life in Japan since episode 1 probably.
Since Life in Japan started.
Yeah.
We were the ones documented.
That's right.
Amaterasu blessed us and told us we can podcast about it.
We're in the history books.
Mm-hmm.
So basically what the idea for this is just to go more in depth with them Life in Japan, because like once we get talking about that, it could take up the whole show in the end. And so what we usually do is we end up just like truncating it, and we just like do a very abbreviated version in the show. So like my idea was to just not be restricted by time and just have a whole podcast dedicated to like just 1 or 2 really big topics that if you're interested in Japan, interested in living or working in Japan, it's definitely going to be worth listening to. I'm going to have some special guests with like not these clowns, not the regular clowns, some actual people who have knowledge on Japan. So don't worry about that.
Talking about, you heard me drop that sick Kanto and Kansai escalator stuff there earlier. I am the one in the know here.
Yeah, the topic isn't escalators though, so it's a little bit more interesting.
Oh well, yeah, tap me out.
So yes, actually, yeah, I'll tell you what the topics are. The topics are getting a job in Japan and dating in Japan, which the reason why we chose those 2 topics was because we ran a poll, and that's what you guys wanted to hear about. And we got some cool emails about those 2 topics as well. So yeah, well, that's what we're going to be talking about. And I've got 2 experts on those 2 topics. So yeah, please to enjoy. I think that's it, isn't it? That's all that's going on.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
well, Danny, you should talk about the stuff that you've been going on thefamicast.com, because you've been writing some cool stuff.
Yeah. I've done a couple of different. I did a set of impressions for ARMS that's up on the website too. If you want to check that out, if you haven't already, on the Famicast Twitter and Facebook, I did something kind of stupid. It's called the Famicast Taste Test. I'm testing out some Nintendo related.
1 bite.
Yeah. 1 bite taste test. So I mean, if you're looking for some kind of culinary genius type of thing or whatever, or some really in-depth food review, you're not going to get it, because this thing's like 1.5 minutes long. But
I could recreate it right now. It's chocolate. See you later.
Yeah, it's chocolate. But it's just kind of. Anyways, aside from that, what the hell was that? Oh god, yeah, it was a review for this game called Battle Sports Makeroo, which is right now it's tentatively titled Project Makeroo in the West, and I think Nintendo's publishing in the West too. Oddly enough,
That was one of the games that was in Nintendo's booth at Bit Summit.
I saw pictures of that, and
NOA are going to localize the shit out of that name. It's going to be called Butt Smashing.
well, they do have English in the Japanese version that's available now, and yeah, so I played it for a bit, and yeah, check out the review. It's mechanics wise, I think it's pretty fun. There's just pretty short on content, but
yeah. If you're thinking about buying it, read Danny's review before you do.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you have the entire review posted, or is a lot of it like grayed out and coming soon?
No, the entire review's posted. That's not a Patreon specific thing. That's just on the Famicast.com.
Yeah, we should have made that clear. That's just general website stuff. Cool.
So yeah, I think that's going to do it for Now Playing at the Famicast. Check us out there and on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, wherever. And
That's right.
Cool.
So next up.
God. Let's kind of blast through some news here.
Yeah, these are just news bites, aren't they?
Yeah. Sairus, do you want to... Actually, yeah, Sairus, do you want to talk about maybe... God, do we need to go through all these ARMS stuff?
I think we talked a lot about ARMS.
Check out the t-shirt.
That's a pretty sick shirt, yo.
Are we doing it, Danny? Is this it?
Doing what?
Okay, next up, it's news. It's Japan news. So, by the way, in case you didn't know, Uniqlo worldwide is selling these two shirts. I think Liam's wearing one as well.
I am indeed.
The quality
dang,
of the video.
That's Uniqlo. Sick. I'm gonna get one of those tomorrow.
Got a little Mario going on here.
Nice.
There you go. I actually have that one as well. I'm wearing a Splatoon one, which is awesome, and this is Danny's wearing a Dreamcast one.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I bought some really cool Mega Man shirts and the Dreamcast shirt. It's at it's tied. Do you got it? No, that's a different one. But
Combo breaker.
I'm wearing the logo of the classic SNES Jurassic Park game.
One of the best first-person shooters on the SNES. Even though that segment only lasts for literally 3 minutes.
yes.
No, yeah, we weren't going to talk about T-shirts, but Splatoon 2. There was a Splatoon 2 story mode trailer at the end of the last ARMS Direct, and it showed the story mode, which looks similar to the first Splatoon, but yeah, they're kind of going crazy with the bosses and stuff. They got like, new level parts and stuff, and yeah, it looks great.
Good news. Callie's not dead.
Callie, yeah, evil Callie, is it?
Yeah, it looks like she's the new evil DJ boss.
Okay. Right, yeah. In the artwork, it kind of had an outline of one of the Squid Sisters. I can't tell the difference, but only Sairus can.
Right.
Whatever. I even got it wrong. I was like, on Twitter, during the end of the last, what's it called, Splatfest. And I was like, in your face! You know, Callie, and I got it completely wrong. Like, I was boasting about the losing team. Because I just completely can't tell.
In your defense, I'm a huge fan of the two Squid Sisters, and I am constantly mixing them up. I just cannot remember which one is which.
Yep, it's not important. But yeah, it looks good, and it's nice that they're kind of expanding on the ideas from the first Splatoon, because people kind of just like, gloss over the fact that Splatoon had a story mode, but it is. I mean, I've called it this before. Like, it is Super Mario Galaxy with a gun.
No,
it's awesome, and it's definitely worth playing. And I didn't play the story mode until having the game for several months. Like, I was just like online only guy, and I was like, okay, well, I might as well give it a shot. And I was like, oh shit, this is amazing. Like,
I literally did the same thing 6 months before you got the game, James. I played it for 6 months, and then by the time you got it, I was like, okay, it's time for me to play it single player now.
Like the final boss from Splatoon 1, like, that is one of my favorite bosses of like recent memory.
Yeah,
it is super fun. I love that guy.
Excellent. And Yeah, talking about that, like the single player mode, like before it was like, was it Captain Cuttlefish, the guy who kind of disappears under the grate when you go near him? But now it's, well, I guess it's by process of elimination, Marie,
Yes.
who, who does that. And she's wearing kind of like kimono kind of thing, and she kind of disappears into the grate, and then she's the one who introduces you to the story mode. So yeah, I'm sure it all connects to that kind of crazy manga thing, or it's not a manga, is it? It's just a story on the
Yeah, the story
is it the Treehouse's blog that they're doing it, or is it just Nintendo's website?
on the official Splatoon page. That
Yeah.
did finish, and it finished with Callie disappears and Marie is looking for her, and that's how the story ends.
Okay, well there you go. The huge backstory that you definitely need to know all about before you play Splatoon 2. And then Arms. You want to talk about Arms?
Arms.
We talked about it a lot. I mean, there's a lot of cool modes, a lot of cool characters.
Yeah, they showed off I think they've shown the entire cast now, and there was a couple of like secret boss characters were teased in the trailer, but it seems like the 10 characters are the end of the character reveals.
Yeah, and I mean, this is going to be like Splatoon, so they're going to be kind of updating this constantly throughout, well, hopefully for at least a year. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I like the whole year's worth of free content idea. But it does kind of go against like review scores, because like a lot of assholes gave like Splatoon like a 7. Like, it doesn't have this, and then it was like updated and it had like all these modes and extra stuff added to it for free, you know, which everyone has access to, you know, and no one updated their review scores to reflect that.
Yeah. Well, hey, with that game I was just talking about, that Magikarp game, like I'll revisit the game.
Yeah, that's going to get a 10 next month.
No, I don't think it's going to get quite that high, but I mean, it's like I said, it was solid, but you know, I'm going to keep that in consideration. Anyways,
if you did give Splatoon a 7, please consider updating your score to a 10.
Old.
I like the new Arms character, Bite and Bark, the police robot dog and policeman.
Are they actually spelled like that too?
Yep.
I was watching the Japanese Direct. I don't remember if they actually had it spelled out in English.
Bite is spelled like megabyte. Bite.
Okay.
It's great.
Wasn't Bark spelled with a Q, or am I insane?
It's in the agenda.
Yeah, it's spelled with a Q, so it's
Literally
like
right there.
barcode kind of, I guess they're looking for or something. Barcode.
Yeah.
No?
Bar Q code. Yeah. There you go.
Yep.
I like it.
There was a little more Splatoon thing. I totally forgot. The director, Yusuke Amano, he's this was really weird. He was in a recent interview. It could have been Famitsu actually. He said that there's nothing to worry about with voice chat, you know, and everyone's like, oh, ears perk up. It's like, you know, people. I've seen these Westerners, you know, they're very worried about voice chat. And we're like, yeah, we are worried about it. You know, we're worried that we're going to have to use a smartphone app and it's going to be bullshit. Like, how are you going to have game audio and voice chat? And he's like, well, don't worry. You're not going to be able to talk to strangers. And everyone goes like, kind of looking at each other around the room.
Literally,
That's not
no
what
one
we're worried about.
Yeah.
We're not worried about that part of it. We're worried about using a fucking smartphone application.
Speak for yourself. Shit.
That was so weird. That was not the end of the sentence that starts with, there's no need for concern about Splatoon 2 voice chat. It should not end with, you won't be able to talk to strangers. That's the last thing I want that sentence to end with, but there you go. Mm-hmm. So yeah, don't worry guys, you're only going to be able to talk to friends.
Right.
So I guess I'm not going to be able to play with Danny.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, I'm not your friend.
And this Mario Kart 8 DX Deluxe update, did you hear about this?
Yeah.
Yes. That is weird. Oh, Ty seems interested.
Yeah. Actually, well, I know all of us here are pretty much are English teachers, right? And
Right.
by coincidence, this week I was asked to teach hand gestures used in English. So
of course.
Yeah.
So you flip the bird to the whole class of 10-year-olds, yeah?
Right, absolutely. Yes, I showed them like a video blurb I grabbed off of YouTube explaining why this change was made.
Mm-hmm.
and it was cool and interesting because all my kids love Splatoon and Mario Kart.
That's actually, I am going to file that away and use that in my hand gestures class. That's really fun.
Yeah.
In case you don't know what we're talking about, it's the kind of the how would you describe it? The kind of arm
it's like the
up.
arm pump for like clasping your bicep.
I think
I've always known it as up yours.
Yeah. I think in European countries like Italy, it's even
Super
worse.
bad.
Yeah, it's like super bad. It really is like go fuck your mama in the ass. It really is like it's like really, really bad. So, but yeah, generally in Western culture, it does mean kind of up yours or, you know, fuck you. But in Japan, when you're, you know, trapped in a room full of Japanese people and you're in Japan, you don't talk to anyone in English outside of Japan, that might kind of get lost in localization. And then it might be several weeks after a game has come out that some American is playing it and then spurts out his, you know, giant-sized Coca-Cola across the screen of his Switch and goes, what the fuck? And then that message gets faxed to Japan and, you know, it gets changed.
That was diet caffeine free. Thank you very much.
Right.
Gotta watch my weight.
I apologize for that mistake.
Yes. One of the other kind of
it got changed.
Yes. One of the other big kind of bits of news that just came out last week, Monster Hunter Double Cross has been announced for the Switch, and it's going to be coming with its own bundle and all that type of good stuff, and it's coming out on August 25th. Some cool things to note with this, there is going to be, I think, cross-platform play between the 3DS version and the Switch version, which is
on the internet. Yeah, internet play is with 3DS and Switch. Local play is Switch only.
Mm-hmm. Which is pretty neat, and you can also bring your data from as far back as Monster Hunter Cross, which is the game before Double Cross on 3DS. Right. And I think you could also just bring your Double Cross data maybe from the 3DS version over as well.
I believe it's a one-time transfer.
Okay.
It's not going to be
something. The trailer made it look like, to me, that you could play, it looked like the Metal Gear Solid transferring thing where you could play on the Switch and then play on your 3DS and then you would save it and you could, it made it look like that.
I don't.
Yeah, I think friend of the show, Adam Evenko, you know, Gaijin Hunter, he's obviously been going in depth on this, and I believe he said it was a one-time transfer. I could be wrong, but you know. But anyway,
he's probably right.
Going from the old generation is a one-time transfer, and the new ones is as many times as you want. You can swap back and forth.
But it's kind of crazy. Like, I mean, obviously, it's a little bit of a rush job, you know, because you know it's just like an upscaled 3DS game, and you know, some people are a little bit angry about that. That it just looks like
pretty nice, though. It did look like. I thought, well, it's Monster Hunter. The art is not great. Anyway,
this is actually, I am 100% fine with this because I always feel whenever a Monster Hunter game comes out, they try and push the system it's using really far. Like the monsters always look like they're too detailed for the resolution they're playing on. So like I find the 3DS games look horrible because they're so cluttered with stuff. Like I find it hard to even like make out a lot of the details sometimes. But then since this is just the 3DS one being upscaled, it now has the graphics have room to breathe on the Switch of it. So
yeah, I feel that too.
Is it? I think I remember JJ on like one of the telethon episodes when he said that like, is it the best version is not actually the Wii version, even though that is the last console version, because the Wii one was like a up-port of like the 3DS one.
No.
Do you remember that?
Wii.
The older Wii one, like Wii, like Try or whatever.
Try, yeah.
So like, and even this is like an upscale of the 3DS. So we still don't have an actual proper console Monster Hunter yet.
But is this setting a bad precedent? I mean, is this what Capcom's going to be like? Okay, guys, like with the next Monster Hunter, it's just going to be made in the 3DS engine, upscaled into HD. Here we go, brand new Monster Hunter.
No, I don't think so.
I think the Switch is slowly going to phase out the 3DS over time.
I mean, this is just a quick thing just to get it on there, you know. So
is this like Capcom's engine, like that scalable engine? The name just.
The MT framework or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they still use that, but maybe.
They use it in Street Fighter still.
I was going to say it could be along those kind of lines, right? Because like how quickly this port was done, you know.
Well, according to Nintendo, it's easy to port to the Nintendo
right.
Switch, so. Yeah. But the thing is, it's money in the bank for both companies.
Exactly.
Oh yeah,
in Japan, not only is Monster Hunter, or Monhan as it's called in Japan, huge here, like now in the West, my God.
Yeah,
Monster Hunter is its own little beast. It's bigger,
Like-
it sells more than Street Fighter in the West, which is crazy.
like not Splatoon, like the Switch didn't need another killer app this year.
Right.
So
Yeah.
like it didn't need another reason for people to be like buying Switches as soon as they go up for pre-order on every store. But this is like, why not? Let's throw Monster Hunter to the mix. And
Well,
it's
we don't have it on the news, but apparently they are like upping production of the Switches. So I would just send all of them to Japan, because Splatoon 2 and Monster Hunter coming out like within a month of each other. Yeah.
God.
Rip
the systems.
Right. Good luck.
Yeah,
I mean,
go for it.
Sairus, I mean, me and you were still yet to have our Switches, and it's like it is worrying to think about the day when we try and get one.
My plan was I was just going to wait until July and I pick one up before I go on an international flight in July. And but now I'm like, I guess I'm not going to get my Switch before July because there's just none anywhere. So,
Right. You might have some luck out in the sticks there.
I think back on when it came to opening in Japan, because it was like, what, 2 weeks after the pre-orders opened in the West, and it was...
Yeah, January 21st or something.
Yeah, and I remember sitting, because I lived in Kagawa back then, so it was a little more inaka. And I remember waking up and thinking, shit, I've missed the pre-orders. Oh well, it'll be fine. It doesn't look like the Switch is going to sell yet. It does seem a little quirky. And I remember thinking, oh, I'll go check if I can pre-order like Gale, like my local Gale.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, walked in perfectly fine, pre-ordered the special edition of Breath of the Wild, and was like, cool, now I have it. You know, I probably didn't need to do this. It'll be fine. As soon as that console came out, oh my God. I am so thankful I pre-ordered that fucking thing, because I can't even imagine.
Oh,
I've
God.
played more hours on that console than I had the whole of last year on PlayStation 4, I think, and I used it a lot. But I can't even imagine not having a Switch right now.
I actually do have a pre-order story. You just reminded me. I actually, just for a laugh, I just went to see if they had any of those Splatoon 2 bundles. Of course they didn't. It was completely sold out. So I asked, like, okay, do you have the amiibo? And they said, yeah, we've got like a couple of amiibos left. You can pre-order them. And I was like, okay, what about the Pro Controller, the Splatoon 2 Special Edition Pro Controller? And they were like, yeah, we've got a few of those left. So I put some money down for the Pro Controller, because I thought, you know, why not? You know, they've got some, get them while it's still available. And just out of interest, I asked the lady, I said, like, okay, how many people have pre-ordered this like controller before me? And this, honestly, this is the first time I've done a double take in real life. Like she said, like 2020, and
One store.
I just kind of walked away, and then kind of like I stopped and then turned to her again. I said, "I'm sorry. Like, what did you say?" Like I thought, because she said 2020. You know, when you hear the number 2020, you think of a year or you think of a price. You don't think of it as like number of people who've ordered a controller in this tiny little shop, you know, near my place. And she was like, yep, 2020 people before you. I'm like, holy shit. I was like, do you have 2020 controllers to give to these people? And she's like, yep, no problem. You know, it's quite a large store. It's like it's a labby, you know, if you know what that is, it's quite a large electronics store. But like, yeah, this game is going to destroy the game charts when it comes out. Believe me.
I had the Amazon page for the controller open on the day the pre-orders went live. Left the tab open for half the day. Came back to it. Nope. And now, because I haven't bought a Pro controller yet.
Oh.
I've been perfectly fine with the grip. But I have Bit Summit was the first time I'd actually played with the Pro controller, and I thought it was excellent. So I thought, I'll wait for the Splatoon one. I'm not going to buy the normal one now when the Splatoon one looks so good. Yeah. I'm never getting that controller.
I could have almost pre-ordered it on the My Nintendo store. My Nintendo thing. It was available. I was like, what? And then I was like, fuck it. And then I came back
you sneezed and then it was gone.
I was like 2 hours later. I was just thinking about it again. I was like, oh yeah, now it's sold out. Of course. Oh well. I wasn't. But I got what I was looking for. I got the empty Splatoon 2 box for 500 yen. That's coming.
I will be doing that. I will be doing that.
Thank you. Thank you.
I will be doing that. Or
Absolutely
what I will be
mental.
getting is I'll be getting the Japanese version, which is the box with the download code card in it.
Oh yeah.
I might do
That's
that.
what I'm
I
doing.
might do that.
The Switch, honestly, I had to literally stand in a store for an hour debating, do I buy physical Mario Kart or do I buy it digital? Mario Kart's a game I want to literally be able to play anytime, but I can't not have the box. Can't not have the box.
Right.
So I ended up going with the box, and now I have to carry, as you saw, Breath of the Wild and Mario Kart around in the case, which, considering how small they are, panics me. Especially now one of them is fucking signed by fucking
I was going to
Al
say, now one of them's worth $100 million. And the other
So with the Splatoon thing where they announced that you can get the box and the download code in the box, I'm like, yes, I'm the idiot who's going to buy that. Like, that's me.
That's you and me, so we're good. We're good.
We'll give high five. Internet high five.
do you get like the amiibo and the Pro Controller or something in there as well? Like, what is it?
No, it's just the box. It's just
Literally
the box.
just the box.
No, I know that. I know the idiotic thing that you guys did, but I mean the actual thing, the real 48,000 yen one, is that got?
Oh, it's the controller and the.
What's the Pro Controller?
No, it's just the game and the special Joy-Cons, the green.
The purple, is it purple and green or
pink and green?
Pink and
whatever
green, that pinky purple.
Which Europe does have as well. Rest in peace, USA. But like the European one is just the standard one, isn't it? Like it's just the standard blue and whatever it is, blue and orange.
The neon ones, yeah.
Yeah. So only Japan gets the new Splatoon color ones, which is weird.
And Europe, I think. No,
yeah, Europe does get the bundle, but like I said, they're just
they're buying individual. Because I'll buy them individually, I think.
And thanks to Reggie, Americans get absolutely nothing. So yeah,
You're welcome.
send your email to him, reggie@nintendo.com. I'm sure that's his email address.
Yes.
Like the code.
Yeah, I cracked it. Yep, send in an email, tell him how you feel.
Cool. All right. Well, now I want to kind of move on to a special feature that we have. I mean, Liam's here, and he does his own podcast. And we kind of wanted to give you a bit of a taste of what he does on his show. So, Liam, I mean, we already talked about it a little bit at the beginning of the episode, but again, how about you just take it away from here, man?
Yeah, so you guys wanted to do like a sort of mini Famicast version of Final Games, which I can sort of see the appeal of, because the idea behind Final Games is thinking of 8 games that you would take with you to a deserted island. So you are being stranded on a deserted island. Don't worry about surviving. That's all fine. Worry about the 8 games that you're going to play for the rest of your life. So how do you balance this? Do you balance this between taking full nostalgia and just wallowing in your memories of childhood and all that kind of thing? Or do you think about the practicality element of, I need a game that I'm going to play for the next, hopefully, 60 years of my existence? So, we've had games like Minecraft and League of Legends and games that are repetitive that you can play or get better at. And we've also obviously had the odd Super Mario World, Super Mario 3, Ocarina of Time, those nostalgia games as well. So how you balance it is important.
Interesting.
And it's up to you. And you
what's
can
the,
have your
what's the internet connection on this island?
So the internet connection is fine. Oh, someone's knocking on my thing. So the internet connection is absolutely fine. You don't have to worry about the internet connection. What you have to worry about is you cannot talk to other human beings.
Like you shouldn't be doing right now, because your neighbor's angry with you.
Yeah, because I live in a Leo Palace in the middle of nowhere.
Leo Palace Brothers, I used to live in one too. I know what it's like, man.
So
Just
the
get the
idea
Brit
is,
handle.
I'm just going to go closer to the mic so I can sort of whisper into the mic. You can go. So the idea is that you cannot play with another human being because you could ask for help to escape from this deserted island.
Okay.
So, for example, if you were going to choose a game like World of Warcraft, where you need to maybe raid or have a guild, if you think you could do those kind of games without other players talking to them, like you can play with them, but you can't talk to them.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Interesting.
then
Well,
that's fine.
if it's a Nintendo game, you're golden anyway, because nothing's got it.
There's no voice chat.
No, or voice chat. It's like, well, if I could go first, I've got an immediate one which suits everything. They got the repetitive nature, like the endless nature. It's got the internet connection, but you can't really communicate with anyone because it's a Nintendo game. It's Mario Maker, because that would just be, you could keep your mind active because you're creating new stages. You could play infinite Mario levels, and I'm sure if you're there for 60 years, Jesus Christ, you could probably recreate every single Mario game in it. It's like, okay, this year I'm going to recreate Mario World.
You can recreate the desert island that you're on like 60 times over.
Yeah,
yeah, build a thinking computer in this game eventually, But that's actually raises the question: are we all on the island together, or like, is it just one of us?
Oh,
well, this is a special Famicast version, isn't it? So I guess we have to be stuck together. So
I guess you guys could be stuck together, which means
man, do we have to share a toilet with Danny? Jesus,
you don't want to.
You can dig your own hole.
No.
And one controller. How many controllers? This is very deep questions.
Let's do it this way. Let's put it this way. Considering there are 4 of you, and you're only allowed to take 8 games, let's take 2 from each of you.
2 each.
Then you have the 8 games. The Famicast 8.
There you go.
So how about we start with James?
Yeah, Mario Maker. So you're done.
Yeah.
Well, do I have to share it with these guys? They're going to use my
Yes.
controller? Because Danny doesn't even wash his hands ever.
This is the special Famicast version, so we will give you everything, all the accessories you need.
Okay. I've got my own in my own private little hut, drinking coconut juice away from these guys.
I took a piss in that man.
Okay. Okay, I'll think about my second game. Someone else go first. Second, sorry.
I was gonna say Ty. Like I think I could almost like picture Ty's. I don't know. Ty would you could probably surprise me, man. Like
Battletoads and Killer Instinct.
There you go. You can't play Killer Instinct.
Would I want to play World of Warcraft if I couldn't talk to anyone? I don't know. Maybe.
Does that make it better or worse?
Depends. So I think I'll just pass on that.
Mm-hmm.
But if I could get, So I scribbled like a bunch of ideas depending on if I had online play or not.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's
can't
yes, but I can't talk to anyone.
Yep.
I think I would take Killer Instinct, the newer one.
Okay.
The one I played 40 hours a week.
And you will be doing for the next 60 years. So
yeah. If you already play it a lot and you don't need to talk to the other player, then totally fine.
The online play is really good.
Not on this desert island. Imagine that if it's got loads of lag and there's all these people, all these scrubby people, talking to you, and you can't talk back to you. You might go insane, man.
Somewhere like you can just see a monkey paw somewhere is like that finger is curling.
All right. So let's just take that. And so for my other choice, I think I would want a single player game where, the sky's the limit as far as getting good. So I have a few choices for those, but I think I would go with Beat Mania 2DX.
Okay.
Music game. That's interesting.
We've had Beat Mania. We've had Beat Mania on the show before.
Yeah. I could get that nice arcade cabinet all to myself at last.
Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds like a pretty good deal. Let's go. Sign me up. I'm ready.
That'd be a very loud part of the island, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
I was thinking of
latency there. Pretty good.
Well, that's true. No knocking on the ceiling from your Leo Palace person. Damn it, right?
I do apologize for being
No,
quiet.
don't worry about that. That's like life in Japan.
That's good. That's
yeah,
great,
I like it. This is fun.
We can be as loud as we want, and then Liam can't. Oh dear.
I was thinking of a game that, okay, this might work for. Well, it'd be a Famicast party for until the day we die. So I was thinking,
if you choose 1-2 switch, I'm gonna bat you to death with a shovel.
No, it's nothing ironic. I was just thinking, a lot of the games that I play or even stick to, it's usually kind of tied to nostalgia. So back on the N64. I love the N64. It's great. This is not DD related, I promise.
Right.
Most of the games aren't fun for that thing. But just to kick it over to with some 4-player N64, I thought about bringing my copy of WWF WrestleMania 2000.
I thought you were going to say No Mercy, which was the best wrestling game on N64.
Okay. The only thing I don't like about No Mercy compared to WrestleMania 2000 is the entrances, because with WrestleMania 2000 they come down the whole way of the aisle, and you can hear that music for longer.
That really annoys me. I would have probably strangled you after year 2, because like most of my what would that be? That would be like high school age.
Mm-hmm.
Like all of my friends are really into the N64 wrestling games, so we used to like meet up, play games. Mario Kart, we'd play Mario Kart, and then soon the eyes would turn to a selection of wrestling games that every single one of my friends owned at least 2 of one of the N64 wrestling games, and I had to like put myself through this. Like, okay, I can't. Every other guy in the room wants to play it. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna play it. And then now I'm stuck on a desert island. What does Danny bring? Comes along.
I aim to please. Trust me, I already have a lot of cool characters created already. Just think in 60 years how many cool ones we can create. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, God.
Going to have a lot of time recreating every character from your childhood in a wrestling
and recreating myself from my childhood, from like every year. Like,
Okay, I've got my second one just before Sairus goes.
Yeah, go for it.
I haven't played this game yet, but Breath of the Wild, because I think that game is like, I mean, sure, 100 hours is nothing when you're stuck on an island for forever, but like having a game where it's like basically about survival, on an island, I thought it'd be quite fun, and something that you can play for a long, long time. Like I don't know, potentially play it forever, and
you can live in that world forever for sure.
There you go. There you go. Exactly. It's like
so we have Mario Maker, Breath of the Wild, Killer Instinct, No Mercy. So we have
WrestleMania 2000.
Oh, WrestleMania 2000. Sorry.
And Beatmania something.
And Beatmania DX. So now we have 3 more spots.
3
Correct?
more. So you mentioned Minecraft, and that's like the easy answer. Like, I feel that, like, I imagine many people who answer this question go straight to Minecraft because it's the infinite game.
I think we'll be playing a lot of Minecraft in real life.
Yeah, and that's like that's a fair point.
We'll get
It's
Danny
not as fun.
Danny hitting the rocks.
Yes.
Build us a house.
That's me.
Yeah,
I'm the guy punching the tree.
I know, but I did really like that idea of a music game. So like, I think the pinnacle of music games is Rock Band 3. So if I can bring Rock Band 3 with like a full catalog of songs, all the instruments.
Ooh.
I could be playing that for a long. Oh, we can get the Famicast band back together.
Back together. Right?
Oh boy.
Never happened. Yeah, I'd be down with that. Definitely. I would appreciate Sairus choosing that game.
As long as I'm on base,
Like
I'm cool.
some other people's game choices.
Yeah, so Rock Band 3, and I've been watching my girlfriend play Animal Crossing New Leaf recently. Like, I didn't realize how much she liked that game, but I bought it for her on 3DS, and I haven't seen her in days. And so that's a maybe. I'd have to think about that, though. So
Bring on amiibo cards.
yeah. Oh, yeah, these amiibo cards behind me? Oh, I wonder, would anyone else be interested in those cards?
More on that later. Question mark?
Yeah. So how about Danny? Do you have an idea for your last one while I give a last grind on my final game?
Yeah, I do. So just, again, kind of sticking with nostalgia a little bit, but keeping it simple and something that everybody is familiar with and everybody probably likes. It's the original Tetris on Game Boy. I mean, it's fun to play in bursts. It's, you could get maybe a little bit bored of it after a while, but, that's a game that I'd want to have just to kind of scratch that itch for at least to have that puzzle game that's available.
Excellent choice.
The island's going to be littered in batteries. Thanks to Danny. It's going to be toxic. The whole island's going to be toxic after like 20 years.
You're welcome.
I remember I had I went to one of my friend's house, and he had 2 Game Boys, and he had 2 copies of Tetris and a link cable,
Ooh.
And we were able to play versus Tetris on Game Boy. That was pretty hype back in the day.
Mario and Luigi just suddenly appear in the multiplayer mode, don't they? If I remember correctly.
I can't remember.
Multiplayer
mode. They're not in the regular game whatsoever, but like as soon as you do the link up mode.
Yeah, they just kind of show up on the screen in the corner and stay there.
There you go.
Um,
So are you just going for one copy of Tetris on one Game Boy, Danny?
Yes.
What an asshole. Jesus.
So my final game, this is not quite nostalgia, it's pretty recent, but I would go Hyrule Warriors, partially despite James.
It's good.
Also, like I'm like 300 hours into that game, and I've still got like way more to go. So
Just for that, I'm not going to let you play my Breath of the Wild. And you're only going to be able to play that.
fair enough. I've got the better Zelda clearly.
I'll let you play Tetris. It's okay.
So yeah, I give you 60 years. You'll have worn down. You'll be 100%ing your Hyrule Warriors file too.
It's quite the eclectic list we've got going on. You like considering you're like 4 guys on an island for 60 years. No Smash, no Mario Kart, no Mario Party.
That's
Interesting.
True, that's true.
Okay, those are probably good ideas.
We got Killer Instinct. It's the best fighting game.
That's true.
Yeah,
I'm
like,
turning back
we
now.
have to-
We had Smash and shit on. Like I'd just be bodying everybody. So what's the point? Like that gets old real quick.
What age would we all have to reach to get like up to Ty's level on Killer Instinct?
No.
I'm pretty sure he'd be dead 1 year into the island excursion anyway. And it'd just be 3 of us.
Finally, some good news.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny how we were all quite selfish with our choices, weren't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like this is like Liam's podcast is all about just like one guy or girl on their own, but we had the rare chance where we're like 4 guys and we didn't choose like that many party games. It's like,
I literally brought the band game. I was nice.
yeah,
That's
you
true.
said this.
And I would play
That's
pro
fair.
wrestling.
Yeah, good. Ty knows what's up.
I prefer WCW versus NWO, but whatever.
That's a fun one too.
I think you guys you've got it figured out. You'll be fine.
Ty, we
Our alone
cleared
time.
all the WCW guys. It's okay. All the moves are in the game. It's okay.
Okay.
The N64 battery will just like run out before then anyway, wouldn't it?
Don't worry. We'll don't worry about the problems. We'll
Yes, okay.
we'll figure it all out.
Magic
Yeah,
batteries.
I do a similar problem game with my students in my English classes. Like, it's like you're in an air balloon and you have to like throw people out. Only have,
Hitler, always Hitler.
but like the classes never like try and entertain the idea of the game. They're always like trying to find loopholes. It's like, oh, but you know, if I pick Ampan Man as my character in the air balloon, he can fly, so we can throw him out all day. It's fine. And I'm just like, no, stop trying to fucking weasel your way out of this game. Toss someone or fucking fail.
Which
So,
one?
yeah, I
of your
feel
friends-
you, Liam.
There have been lots of technicalities that have come up over the time, and it gets hard to keep up with them. For real.
Don't worry about it. Don't overthink it.
I'm
Not
the
really
rules
happening.
lawyer trapped on an island.
Cool. That's awesome. So, like, Liam, if people want to actually listen to an actual real version of your show as opposed to this travesty, how can they do that?
You guys did well. You balanced the choices. Yeah, if you wanted to listen to Final Games and you wanted to hear a real episode, I don't know how real the episodes really are, but you can go to soundcloud.com/Final Games Podcast, or you can search for it on iTunes, Acast, Stitcher, and all that sort of stuff. You'll find it. Or you can just Google Final Games and it's there.
And
Acast and Stitcher. Yeah, we do that now, don't we?
Yeah.
Good stuff.
out of our list of games, Mario Maker, Breath of the Wild, Killer Instinct, Beat Mania, Rock Band 3, Hyrule Warriors, WrestleMania 2000, and Tetris, how many of those games have been picked by other people?
Every single one,
Oh man.
but
Wow.
no. 2 have not been chosen.
Oh.
I'll let you
Hyrule
guess.
Warriors,
Hyrule Warriors,
WrestleMania.
WrestleMania.
Oh yeah.
All the others have been chosen.
Who's the Killer Instinct guy?
He's dead now. Don't worry about it.
I forget, but I remember it coming up because I don't know too much about Killer Instinct.
Orchid is Ty's favorite character.
No, it's Tinder.
Yeah, you swipe left and right, and he does that fireball move.
It's kind of a running joke on the Famicast where I gush about Killer Instinct, and then James gets every character's name wrong. It's a lot of fun. Did you see the new teaser for the next character?
No.
Hagel or something?
Yeah. Or something. So I'm looking forward to James.
Is it a classic character?
It's a character that's been hinted at in the story since the very first one.
Okay. Well, when you
Deep with lore.
Yes, deep in Killer Instinct lore.
Yeah, when they want to rename the characters, just let me know. Send me an email.
If you listen to the fighting game special podcast I did, I successfully predicted he was the next character.
Nice.
Yeah, slam dunk.
Awesome. So
cool. All right. Well, again, Liam, thank you so much for being on it, obviously the episode, and also for basically doing a mini version of your show. That was freaking awesome. Thanks, man.
Thanks so much, guys. Cool. And if you do have your full 8, just post them in your show notes, and I'll check them out.
Cool.
Awesome. Yeah. If there are any listeners listening and they want to do that on the website, they can do that.
Also, you can tweet at the Famicast, obviously, and you can also include at Final Game Show on Twitter. I'd love to see your 8. People email me their 8 games all the time. I love checking them out, and we've seen some pretty crazy things on the list. So definitely find them over if you have them.
Cool. All right. Before we take off for today, we have a little bit of feedback that I wanted to get to. It's getting pretty late here, and I know everybody's pretty tired, so let's try to go through this stuff as quickly as possible. Okay. Nice long emails. Start out. Awesome.
we can scan through this.
Yeah, James, how about go for it, man.
So this is from Mark from Deeping in England, and he just wants to know if we're planning on getting Dragon Quest 11 or 10 on Switch. He says it kind of kills him that we can all speak Japanese, yet we choose to use our powers for work and relationships and stuff like that instead of doing cool things like playing Japanese RPGs.
Hey, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves and being able to speak Japanese here.
Right.
Yeah, mine's getting there, but not that great.
So Mark's been thinking about learning Japanese so he can play like the Golden Era Square Enix games, but a combination of being too hard and him being too stupid. His words, not mine. If Square Enix are not going to release Dragon Quest 10 outside of Japan, which they probably won't, by the way, then I'll probably download the Japanese version onto my Switch and then try and muddle through. I just hope they don't put any regions server restrictions like they did with Wii and Wii U. He said he tried playing the 3DS version, but it was laggy as hell from the UK.
Yes, that was a weird version of the game where it was, streaming.
That's the way. The code in a box one, right?
Yes.
Anyway, looks forward to hearing our thoughts. But well, first of all, about the learning Japanese thing, like learning to speak Japanese and learning to read Japanese is 2 very different things. Like, like Japanese is like rated as like a level 5 difficulty language for English speakers on like whatever is the NATO level of measuring languages.
It's hard mode.
It's basically expert mode. Yeah, like I think it's like Arabic, Chinese, and Japanese are like level 5 languages. And that's mainly because of the writing and reading. Spoken is not as difficult. So like probably everyone on this podcast can like get by in their work. They can speak. They can can make general conversation with people. But like when it comes to like reading difficult kanji, that's a whole different ball game. And these games are all text based. So like I don't know about you guys, but like I speak a lot of Japanese at my workplace. I work with Japanese people. Like when I get home, I don't want to exert my brain even more. I just want to chill and play games in my native language, which doesn't require any extra effort on my behalf.
Absolutely. Like I have many solid Japanese games, and playing them feels like work.
Yes.
I don't mind games that have Japanese voice because I can just like listen to it and absorb it and it's okay. But if I have to read it and I have to think about it, yeah, I'm not that interested, to be honest.
Yeah, think of it like whoever's listening to this, think about like whatever your second language is, whatever you learnt at school, what is French, Spanish, German. Imagine playing a game completely written in German, for example. Like you might be able to get through it, but like it would feel like homework. It would feel hard, right? So like, but if you're really dedicated to like learning Japanese, it is a good way of doing that. Like, I mean, like Danny's talked about some games where they've got the furigana, like the phonetical thing above the thing for like kids and stuff like that's a great way to learn.
Yeah, and particularly Nintendo are really good about that. They any of the first party Nintendo games will probably have furigana for everything.
They all do. Yeah.
But as for playing like Dragon Quest 10 and 11, I would forget about 10. It will never be localized in English, I don't think. I think it's just it's a MMORPG for Japanese players in Japan, and they've had no hints of it ever going to be localized. Even though Switch is region free, you might be able to download it with create a Japanese account and download it.
It's going on PS4 as well.
Yeah, I doubt you'll ever be able to. You're never going to be able to play it in English, and yeah, the IP, region locking, it might happen as well. So I wouldn't risk it. I would wait for some YouTuber to do it and then go, oh fuck, it doesn't work, and then you can make the decision to not buy it. But for 11, I think that will be translated into English because that's like a single player, story based game. So I think maybe like a year later. I don't know.
Actually just the other night I pre-ordered the 3DS version of 11. I'm just gonna give it a shot.
Okay.
And also, tomorrow I'm going to go and try to pick up the Secret of Mana collection on Switch.
Right now?
Well, I could. I want to get the package version, so I gotta wait.
Oh boy.
I don't know. I mean, for me, when it comes to playing Japanese stuff, I mean, with the 3DS and Wii U, I have Japanese systems, so I had to get Japanese games. There's like nothing else I can do. That's fine. I mean, you get used to it to an extent. Sometimes you just don't feel like playing it. But I don't know. Sometimes I get in a mood where I'm like, okay, let's do this, and you kind of go for it. And I might not be able to catch every single thing that's happening, but as long as I'm to the point personally where I'm playing something and it's like, okay, I could kind of get the general gist of this. Okay, what's this kanji? Oh shit, I gotta look this thing up. Whatever. That's kind of annoying, but yeah.
If you choose to do that, it's a great way of doing it. I mean, some people do that, and if Mark, he says, you said it might be too difficult for you to do that. I mean, it doesn't sound like you're that motivated to learn Japanese, and if you're not in Japan, it would be quite hard to do that. So, I would say maybe wait on Dragon Quest 10. Dragon Quest 11, for an English version. But I don't know.
Some people do pull it off.
Yeah. You might be able to struggle through like a story-based game like 11. You might be able to with like YouTube, like a YouTube Let's Play.
Oh yeah, there are tons of people out there that do that. Maybe I'm good at Japanese. Okay, what does this say? It's like a hiragana.
There's a good YouTube channel I would recommend. Actually, Nihongo Gamer is a dude. He loves. I think he plays not only Nintendo games. He plays all sorts of games, but he actually plays games, Japanese games, and then kind of translates as he's playing it. It's really cool. He's a guy who lives in Japan. It's pretty cool, and there's a possibility that he might do that for Dragon Quest 11. So
I might have watched something about him with Xenoblade Chronicles X when that came out here, because I was playing it too, and I was trying to figure stuff out sometimes, just getting stuck. And he was like giving commentary with it and stuff. It was great.
Yeah. He's a British dude that lives here in Japan. Danny's phrase.
Yes.
Okay, so next up we got some tweets. Oh man, do we really want to get into the horizontal versus vertical debate again? Yes. Oh God. Well, maybe we should ask Liam. Without any comment, Liam, how the screen is split in Mario Kart. You might know that it's vertical, like up and down, in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but like some of the older Mario Karts were horizontal. Like, which is the best, quote unquote, best way to play Mario Kart? Vertical split or horizontal split?
I think because the most recent ones have been vertical, I'm kind of used to that. But as someone who power drifts whenever he can and slides all over the place, I have to be able to see the corner. So I'd rather it be horizontal.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Wise man. We have brought a wise man
The
on the
right
show
answer.
this week.
It's the right answer.
You've now been automatically invited to future podcasts thanks to that answer. So yeah, we ran a Twitter poll, and I think Vertical won.
Yes.
And then Sairus did something on Facebook, and then Vertical won.
No, it didn't. Why do you keep changing that on the show notes?
I thought you showed me a screen grab of that. I think.
Yeah, and it was like 19 people said horizontal and 2 people said vertical.
Oh, okay. So it's the other way around. Okay.
Yeah.
And then Ty asked his Scrub Quotes people, and they said Vertical as well, right?
Well, the horizontal. I mean.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
Field
horizontal.
of vision. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like even the replies to the Famicast poll, there are people who are not sure like which means which.
Right.
So that's insane. That
If vertical meant each. Yeah. Yeah, I hadn't even thought about that. That some people, when you say a vertical split, they think it means stacking the screens vertically on top of each other. So.
Oh,
Gross.
whoa! I'd never even thought of that. Oh.
Yeah, I know. It's always really interesting for me when people they hear the same sentence and understand a completely different thing.
Okay.
And just to be clear on my stance, it's not like I prefer vertical. I'm just like I can deal with it. It's like
No, and I think.
Oh, that's a nice backpedal.
Well,
yeah,
I
those
mean-
goalposts are lovely. I like this new position.
Yeah.
And for the Switch version, I do think vertical suits it better because the way the screen is like set, like for 2 people sat next to each other, it does.
Oh, I think so too. On the Switch screen itself, definitely vertical. It would be too small split.
That's an interesting idea. That if it's
Give us an option, right? Just so we can just do it. Switch from the options menu or something. I think that would be beneficial for people that.
Yeah, I think that's great because I like to not be able to see where I'm driving or shooting or other players.
I think Perfect Dark on the N64 let you do that, if I remember correctly.
Let you choose?
I think it let you choose.
I don't remember.
And
I
then
remember Halo 2, which I spent a lot of time playing. If you had, it would go to like vertical if you were on a widescreen, but it would do horizontal if you were on like a standard definition.
Okay, cool.
And that was insane. And like if we played on widescreen, we would like set the resolution to be standard, and then
just to trick it into forcing horizontal split.
Yeah, if we played 2-on-2s on different TVs, because that's insane.
Okie dokie. And another tweet from Aaron RBR. This is just about the sound test episode from last month. He says, yeah, he's almost done listening. Some real gems in there. The Diddy Kong racing track was his jam back in the day. Mm-hmm. And he said, with so many Mario and DK entries out there, you could surely do multiple episodes on it. Looking forward to episode 2. Yeah, I don't think that'll be the only Mario and / Donkey Kong episode of that if it does go on that podcast. Yeah, don't worry about that. And next up, we got some comments on the website. So Ty, you've got one on your Champion Edition podcast, right?
Do I? Gosh.
Yes.
Oh yeah, 10-10 fighting game discussion. The Patreon will be worth it alone for more talk on the butt fisting arcade game. Absolutely great game and absolutely real. That was from Chris, if I am saying that properly.
I think so.
The Crisis, the hit first-person shooter.
Yeah, the butt fisting game and the table flipping game, they're both quality Japanese arcade titles.
Yeah, let's bring those to EVO next year.
Danny, you got something on your ARMS thing, right?
Yeah, this is from Pin Eliosh. I spent 45 minutes playing. This is about ARMS, the ARMS write-up that I did. I spent about 45 minutes playing the motion control method. The Joy-Cons felt surprisingly comfortable, held sideways with thumbs resting on the triggers. I thought the punching was very responsive, although I was just waiting on my opponents with no real skill, aka me. It seemed like they were doing the same. Character movement felt a bit sketchy. I agree. This was particularly noticeable during the volleyball game. It could be one of those games that is easy to play but hard to master. That's probably something to that.
Cool. Right then, and on Facebook, I think probably me, said Mia was probably fake, not a real person. but because of her comment, she said something like, "Nice podcast about video game" or something like that. It sounded too generic, but it turns out she was real. She said, "Thanks for the shout out on the newest episode. I do actually listen." So yeah, sorry for thinking you're a fake person, Mia. I apologize. And the last one, oh wow, this is an iTunes review. I think this is our first one on the new feed, isn't it?
Yes.
Which is kind of amazing, actually.
Yeah.
Thank you very much from Ninty64.
5 stars too, by the way.
5-star review. Thank you very much. He said, the Famicast is an outsider's look at Japanese culture and living with a focus on Nintendo gaming from European and North American podcasters. They do have good dynamic humor among them and a nice mix of personalities. They do a wonderful job of answering listener questions and offering their observations of Japanese media, language, business, customs, etc. from a Western perspective, but also give glimpses into their own cultures. Thanks, guys, for a unique, enjoyable Nintendo podcast. Yep. And yeah, that's amazing. There was a lump in my throat at the end of that. Thank you very much, Minty64. That's amazing. That's why we do it.
Yep.
That's why we do it. And that's a wrap.
Yeah. So that's going to bring the show to a close. If you want to have your email or anything like that read out on the show, you can email us at the Famicast. The Famicast.
Can I have
Not God. Wow, we upgraded.
God's there too. If you want to follow us on Facebook, it's facebook.com/the Famicast. Twitter, look for at the Famicast. YouTube, which you might be watching this right now on YouTube, at the Famicast. All of it's basically the Famicast. Pretty easy to find. Individually, if you want to follow me, you can follow me at DannyBiv, DannyBiv, James.
Yo, at Famicomplicated. You know it.
Okay. And Ty.
Super Cat Drugs. Check out my cool fighting game GIF animations.
Sweet.
I guess.
Sairus.
And at Celsi, where I retweet stuff because I'm too busy to post stuff.
And Liam, one more time, buddy.
Okay, if you want to follow me, you can follow me at LiamBME. And if you want to find out stuff about Final Games, you can go to at Final Games Show.
Excellent. Well, again, Liam, thank you so much for coming on. It's been awesome. Sorry to keep you up so late.
Guys. No problem. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Cool. All right, well, that's going to do it. So we'll catch you next time. See you later.
Peace out.
Bye.
Nice.